Welcome to WCS Basketball Media Day for the 2024-25 basketball season. I'm Darren Joines, Williamson County Schools Athletic Director. I'm here with my partner, Mr. Tate Matthews. Listen, you can mark the calendar of the school year by certain things. This is one you mark the calendar by. We're excited to be back here at Mojos Tacos in the factory at Franklin. Tate, I'm excited about tonight.
Oh, yeah, always an exciting event. It means we're usually in the second or the third round of the football playoffs, but you can hear the basketballs bouncing. And when WCS Basketball Media Day shows up at Mojos Tacos, you're probably, about a week away, maybe 8-9 days away from official games. It's going to be fun. A lot of exciting things ahead on the basketball and the hardwood floor this year. Both the girls' side and the boys' side. And we talk about it every year, but I love not only seeing our coaches, both the women's and the men's head coaches come up, but the representatives that they bring with them, getting to see their personalities. It's a really special night and event that you all put on, or we put on. It's great. Love it.
Well, and I want to thank Walker Chevrolet, Brock Daly and Walker Chevrolet. Without them, this doesn't happen. Obviously, Adidas and Matthews Team Sports, the folks here at Mojos Tacos, Dan Tully, Dave Story. And then we've got OTL in the house. It's an important event. If our outside the line students are here, they're here ready to go. We got Kyla and Aaron and Luke and David in the house. We also want to thank WCTV for live streaming this thing. We've got intern Will, not really, but we're going to call him that. We got the old crafty veteran Lance West here with us. And then Mark Parrish, who helps us with our game day events. So none of this happens without those folks, Tate.
No, and it always runs so well. They do such a great job with it. And no longer intern Lance, because at one time he was right. Intern Lance. So he came with he wins Best Christmas Sweater Award for night.
I've got one, though, that's pretty good, but I'm not sure I'd wear it at this event. Anyway, it's another story for another time. Let's jump right in, Mr. Matthews. Here's what we'll do. We'll talk girls basketball first. 4 new coaches. One's not really new. He moved spots, but let's go through the list. We got John Wilkins at Brentwood High School. Marcel Williams moves from Brentwood to Centennial. We got Bree Jackson, first-year head coach at Independence. Donald George, first-year head coach at Summit High School. I always think when those new coaches come to this kind of event, it's just a little different here.
No doubt about it. Coach Williams is used to it. He's been used to it. So he'll know. He'll be in a different shade of blue.
Different shade.
And he went down I-65 just a little bit and changed locations. But, when they get here, they all these events, they think they know, but they don't really know till they get here. And it's really cool. They tell their coaching buddies about it too. So that's great. But, and it's really neat when you look at the 4 new ones this year. They're all a little bit different, right? Different backgrounds and obviously different styles as well. So very excited for them to join the WCS basketball coaching ranks.
Well, and I want to say this, speaking of coaches in other areas, I want to mention this because I know Bobby Loon at Gallatin, he and the Gallatin faithful are watching tonight. Jim McDowell at Lebanon, he's tuning in. Troy Allen, the retired Troy Allen, I know he's watching, and the Wolfman. Even though he's not in the league anymore, John Wild's watching too.
The Wolfman is watching live stream. He's sitting in the recliner with the 4-pounder. He's eating a piece of pecan pie with a cup of decaf. The feet are propped up. He's definitely watching. And I'm sure Troy Allen's watching on the lake. Shout out to our friends at Gallatin, making ears bleed since 2015.
And I always feel like we've got to give a shout out to our man, Dr. Jeremy Qualls. Without him, this doesn't really – he gets this going. Who would think this would even work? It's worked out great. We'll have members of the media here. It's going to be fun. So to let our audience know, we'll have a little preview till right at 6 o'clock. We'll have the individual teams come up. We'll have the boys and girls head coach. They're each going to bring a player with them. They have an opening statement they make, and then they get a question-answer session with the media. I know the media appreciates it. It's a one-stop shop kind of deal. I already see our man Charlie Bateman. He's here ready to go. Probably ordered the green chili cheeseburger tacos. That's my personal favorite, Tate.
I second that.
And you like the hot chicken.
It's the go-to. Green chili cheeseburger if you only get one. Hot chicken is the second option if you get the combo. I prefer the street corn. I think you're kind of you're the street corn.
I like street corn.
Yeah, shaved. It's the only way to go.
It's the only way to go. All right, let's jump in. Again, girls. as you look through here, Tate, and I'll just kind of lead us off here, but last year, the cream of the league, Page, during the season, they went undefeated, which is difficult to do. They had a couple of tough injuries in the tournament. Didn't really get quite as far as they wanted to get. They drop out in the quarterfinal round in the region. Nolensville takes it deep into the region tournament. They lose on a last-second shot to a really good Lincoln County team. Brentwood was amongst the best. I think those, Tate, going in, have to be the 3 favorites again.
Yeah, I think so too. And a little bit different, but they all kind of similar. It's you know what I'm saying? They're different, but they're all very similar. So I think you can throw those 3 in a hat, pick one out, and you're probably okay with who you got. I think if the media members were to take a poll tonight, I think probably Brentwood.
Yeah, I think so too.
Maybe gets the most first place votes. Now it's going to be interesting. They were fast paced as all get out under Coach Williams, Coach Wilkins. He's no stranger to the state tournament and the state championships from his time at McKenzie. So it's going to be interesting to see the style of play that they play. But they were up and down, and I'm talking pressure, running you to death under Coach Williams. It's going to be really fun to watch. Anytime you've got Ella Ryan coming back, you know you've got at least 20 points a night that you can count on.
Well, she's special. Leilani Washington at Nolensville, another returning player who's been one of the best in the league. Mary Elizabeth Fox at Page, she goes down with a tough injury last year to end the season. Really, that hurt Coach Kaufman in their run, but she's back healthy, ready to go. But we're talking about 20-win teams, and they've got a lot coming back. Take a look at Nolensville. Chris Ladd, one of the deans of coaches in WCS boys and girls side, been with Nolensville for a while now. Sarah Brakefield, Olivia Galloway, Nyla Johnson, who played great in the tournament. And then you take a look at Brentwood. To me, when you talk about Brentwood, obviously it's Ella Ryan, but it's Paige Morris at the point guard position too, Tate.
Yeah, without a doubt. All those young ladies have really made their way and made their name here. Leilani Washington, I mean, you know, she was Wilco finalist last year, right? I mean, and no argument there had she won it. But you talk about Paige, Lily. Coach Kaufman is very, very high on her. He thinks she's really going to make some waves this year, and had a really good offseason or spring, summer season. And so he feels like she's going to be a real weapon this year as well. So we got a lot of big players. And then, you know, I know you're going to get to them too, but then when you go to Franklin, if you're talking about, you know, who does the best job scoring and rebounding in the whole conference, I think you got to look no farther than Franklin and look at Cecily Brandamore. I mean, she is a walking double-double machine. So we got a lot of big players coming back this year. Funny that you call Chris Ladd the dean or one of the deans. It's funny. I mean, most people remember his time at Summit, but I can remember back, and you can too, when he was the head boys coach at Page.
Right.
They don't even know what we're talking about. And before that, he was an assistant for Brian Kelly at Centennial. So who knows, if he sticks around long enough and not too many more schools are built, he might do a tour of duty at all 9.
Well, I think there was a tough district loss from Dr. Qualls back in his time at
Page.
No, when Coach Ladd was at Page,
right,
and Dr. Qualls was coaching, would it have been
Marshall
Lexington?
County or
Marshall
Lexington?
County.
Probably Lexington.
Probably Lexington.
I think he only won 5 in Marshall County.
But he had a tough loss there in some kind of tournament game, and
yeah,
he wanted to be mad at Coach Ladd, but who can do that? Let's look at some of our other squads. Look at Indy. Bree Jackson, first-year head coach. Aaliyah Fleming, been a good player for a long time. She was a first-team All-District last year. Savannah C., another returning player. So even though we're saying there's the top 3 teams, you point out Franklin, they got a great player in Brandamore. Independence got a couple good players too. I feel like, and especially on the boys' side, which we'll talk about in a second, top to bottom, it's a lot tighter, I think, than it's been.
Yeah, without a doubt. There's no clear cuts, and especially those first 3, but then the rest of them, you're right, they're very close in there. You mentioned Independence. It's going to be another one. It's going to be fun to see what they look like under Bree Jackson, first-year head coach. She did a pretty good job hiring assistants, I would say. She hired her former high school coach, Rhonda Blades Brown. I don't know how many state championships she has under her belt. She might have 5. I know she's got 4, so pretty strong when you bring her in as an assistant.
Independence, I'm gonna go call them out. Coach White, if you're watching, Take a look here. You messed up. You should have said, Coach Brown would be glad to have you. You got to bring your son and come play on the golf team.
Probably would have won a golf state championship.
I'm thinking, though, he just played out on, he played in a pro tournament and finished in the top 15 or 16. We need to claim him, though, sort of.
No doubt about it. He's one of ours.
Hey, but let me tell you, they still wouldn't have beat Brentwood.
Not in the team. No.
Not in the team. Hey, let's talk about our other teams here. We got Ravenwood. Coach James got a really young team coming back. Lots of freshmen on that roster for him. He's excited about the squad. Donald George at Summit High School. Bridget Ali, Tarek Shear, dual sport athlete. Always gives them a chance. And then at Fairview, they're in 11-3A, the only school that's not in the 10-4A league. It's an 8-team league, as most of you know. Coach McGowan didn't really lose much last year off the squad. They only had 7 wins. But when you've got players like Maddie Brewer back, they're going to be a much improved team out there in Yellow Jacket Nation.
Yeah, I think one of their number one goals is they want to see that win total get into the double digits. They want to eclipse the 10-win mark and maybe get up around the 15. And I think that's a very attainable goal for them this year.
Definitely attainable. Now, Tate, let's move to the boys' side. Now, and I'm not saying this just because they're in here. They'll be up first here. Coach Tigert's already in the house. I think he's ordered him a chili cheese burger taco. And I always say that wrong. It's green
chili cheese burger.
That's right. I just say the one that's a burger, and it's so good. Lots of folks are pointing to Franklin. One of the reasons, Christian Brown, who's going to be with Coach Tiger tonight, one of our best players in the league. But if you go down the list there, Independence, of course, state championship last year. They've got Tylen Lewis, who's coming back, Division I commit. You got Centennial, 3 juniors, really as good as any in the league, who are coming back. They played a lot last year. Brentwood, new coach, not really, but sort of new. Our only new head coach in the league, Troy Crane, at Brentwood High School. He was the right-hand man of Troy Bond at Wilson Central, at Oakland, also at Brentwood. And then take a look at Nolo, Page, Ravenwood, Summit. I think you look at all those teams and go, there's a chance they're better than they were last year. The district tournament this year is at Page High School. They'll have that new gym open. And I'm telling you, I'd be worried personally. Page gets in that Final Four and they're playing at home in that new gym. Look out for Page High School, too.
Yeah, I agree. I think they would. The other head coaches would tell you that as well. And made some noise. The overall record didn't look like it, but they're all so tight in this district, man, on the boys' side. And so even when the records don't reflect it, Page they can go out and beat any of them at any given night. Ravenwood can too. So I agree. That brand new gym, if they can get past those first 2, I think their chances would be really, really good. But it's kind of like on the girls' side. I echo what you said. I think Nolensville, Independence, Franklin. A lot of people have them, but I think you got to put the sleeper tag on Centennial, which is probably the way they want it.
Well, I think you do too. And the thing about Centennial, I think people forget the kind of year they had. Because as the 3 seed in the tournament last year, Coach Moore and his squad, they lose to 6 seed Brentwood. Oh, bad loss. Really? They went to the state tournament. So it was one of those things you just have to survive. Brentwood survived that game. They go on a deep run as the number 6 seed. But you're talking about with Coach Moore's team, McKelvey, Ryland McKelvey, Carter Ezel, Daniel Patton. Listen, Patton, I think most people know about him, but he might be the player that you go, who's that?
Your breakout player of the year.
I mean, really?
No.
He was good last year.
Well, and you mentioned Franklin's going to be up here, and Christian's going to be one of the ones representing him. You can tell he's been in the weight room, filled out, looks fantastic. But Daniel's another one. From last season to where he is right now, his body's changed. He's ready to have a big year. Yeah, if they didn't know about him, I think they should have. So it's hard to call him breakout. But you're right. If we were going to give one, I think it'd be to him.
Davis Cochran, Brentwood. You talk about the run they had last year. Everybody knows about big brother Daniel, who was a great player. But I don't think they make the run they make if it's not for Davis last year. He sure didn't play like a freshman. So I look for him. They shot a lot of folks told me this summer when they played, a lot of running and gunning, a lot of threes in the summer games. you don't win a state tournament in the summer. However, they had some games in the summer. I verified this with Coach Crane. They hit over 23s in a game. That's a little different than the way they've been playing. I'm not saying the way they were playing before wasn't the way to play. It's who they have right now. They've got a sophomore group that's pretty special.
Yeah, he's pretty much going to roll with 3 sophomores, 2 juniors, and 2 seniors. So I think of all of them, they're the probably youngest of the group. But he likes them. They're really good young players, right? And you mentioned Davis. I was going to say that as well. The confidence level he played with in the postseason last year, it's going to be fun to watch him now as he's a sophomore. You're right. He didn't play like a freshman, and some big shots over there at Ravenwood during that. Was that the region tournament, or would that have been the district
tournament?
Yeah, district tournament. You're right, man. They don't win those games without him. So it's going to be fun to see him a year older, and he's a year stronger and bigger. But confidence, that is not something that he struggles with.
And with our just to let you know how it works, too. So we got the district tournament at Page, the region tournament at Coffee County. However, let's throw this in. Happened in the girls a few years ago when I was coaching there at Franklin. Coach Wild was coaching the girls. We had a sweep on the girls' side. Since the Franklin girls won the tournament moved back to Franklin. I think on the boys' side in particular, I'm calling it early, we're sweeping. We'll never make it to Coffee County.
So then where will it move back to?
Whoever wins the tournament.
Gotcha.
You don't do it by the sea because they could be out. They probably wouldn't be out. But if I win the regular season and I'm out, I don't want to host. You give it to the district tournament winner host. Whoever wins our district tournament, I feel like on the boys' side, we're going to move it back here.
I think that's strong. That'd be fun, wouldn't it?
We had 3 or 4 last year. I thought we were going to get that sweep. Tough loss for Ravenwood at Columbia Central. Really good team, but we almost had the sweep last year. Girls' side, we were 2-2, I believe. I feel like we'll be in a little bit better shape this year. Sweeping still may be tough. All right, let's keep going here. So Franklin High School, again, we talked about they'll be up first tonight with Coach Tiger and Christian Brown. Xander Johnson, a guy that I assure you the folks in this league know about. Maybe, see what Coach Tiger said, the best defender on their team and one of the best in the league. Always got a tough assignment defensively, can hit open shots. The big question mark for me is, and I think they can answer it, but they're going to have to answer it, when you lose players like Jet Montgomery and Independence, you don't just replace them. Davis Long, and I know I took some heat for this, for saying this, if I'm having a draft last year, he was maybe the first pick, but I probably wouldn't have picked him first because I don't think you would have picked him first.
You don't know that.
If you picked somebody else, I'd pick him second, but if I thought you were going to pick him first, I would have picked him first. Does any of that make sense?
Yeah, little Jedi mind trick. But as y'all know, I was pretty vocal about being in the Davis Long fan club as well.
Me too, man.
He was definitely the quarterback. So you're right. But all of them really. On the girls' side, we mentioned some, but on the boys' side, they all did. I mean, look at this list. Look at it. Centennial loses Daniel Cochran. Brentwood loses Daniel Cochran. Centennial, Tanner Lee, and Dominic Reed. Right? Fairview, Nathan Dillingham, and Mace McCoy. Man, they're 2 of the best players to ever play there. Davis Long and Gil Jones at Franklin. Independence, look at those. Braden Buck, Houston Hicks, Jet Montgomery, Corbin Walling. They've all got them. Ravenwood and Evan Gaynor, right? I mean, that was a loaded class last year, man.
Very good. And I still say, top to bottom, the league's better this year. Maybe we don't have somebody going, oh, yeah, obviously they're going to be state champion. People were talking about that with Indy all year. It wasn't because they were finalists the year before. I don't think folks are going to necessarily be talking about one of our teams like they did Indy last year. Doesn't mean we can't be there at the end.
I think a lot of people are talking about them.
They are. They definitely are. Not like they were talking about Indy because they were runner-up the previous year and had pretty much the core back. Let's talk about Nolensville. Listen, 16-12 last year. I think most people would agree with this, the coaches in the league. His best class is the junior class. So they played some last year, really started playing a lot at the end of the year. You got the Barneys, Kale and Kyson Barney on that team. He's got a whole list of really good players in that particular class. They're coming of age, so to speak, so I've looked for them to be better. Page, again, with Jared Street. Andrew Kakuya, one of my all-time favorite names. He's a guy that gets on the nerves of the opponents. Seems like he's never going to graduate. Hernandez, Moss, several guys coming
Pablo
back on that team.
Hernandez.
What'd I say?
You did. You said Hernandez. Pablo.
Oh, okay, my bad.
He's one of my men.
I didn't give the whole. Ravenwood, look, I'm not going to do this because I know Coach Whitlock is listening. He'll try to say that we didn't say they were going to be good and all this. Look, I think they got a really good team. Obviously, losing Gaynor and Lamuno, that hurts. But he's got some guys he likes. My guy on that team that I love, Kemple.
Yep.
Football player. I like the dual sport thing, and I love the way he shoots the ball.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of years when they have football guys that are very important and they don't get them till later. Hopefully this is going to be the same this year. Kemple, I hope Coach Whitlock doesn't get him till second, third week of December. Would you be okay with that?
Correct. He would be okay with – he doesn't really want it, but he wants it.
Right.
Coach Whitlock does. And here's the thing. So we've got 2 district games before Christmas break. So we're going to be 2 games in. In fact, for those that are fans out there, we got our media guides that are available. Appreciate Christian Taylor being involved in that. Look great as always. Copy Solutions, Bob and John Woodbury taking care of us with those media guides. But folks will think it's a misprint, and it's not. I think it's the December 17th game. It's during finals week. We don't normally play games during finals week. We got it approved because last year we got in a situation. I think we had 3 coaches that are here, 3 or 4 weeks. We had 4-game weeks. So because of that, we said, look, we got to move one of those games up in case we have weather. So we've got a December 17th game. It's a district game. Girls will play at 4:30, boys at 6. I love it. Now, Coach Tigert, who, again, is here, he wants to play the boys game first. He's always looking to do something different.
I like it.
I think he also said he wanted
Where'd you get that idea?
he just wants to go home quicker.
I think it was wild, right? I remember a few years ago, Mount Juliet played at Riverdale. They played the boys first and the ladies second.
I think Mount Juliet Wilson Central did it years ago when in 09 AAA. That's right.
Well, I was going to ask, do you, as a former coach, and then the coaches, do they like that, having those games now? But it sounds like it's really, like it or not, it's necessary. So,
well, they were okay with it because they're getting to play.
yeah.
They were really lobbying for, hey, we got to play. I give them credit for pushing us on that. We got it through. And I think it might lead to that happening more. Hey, listen, we're going to have 27s and 28s on the ACT. It's cool. We can play one game at 4:30 to be fine. My experience has been by having some teenagers, they're not going to bed anyway.
Not mine.
So anyway, I think it'll be great.
Well, will everybody has a district game that night?
4:30 and 6 on the 17th. Summit High School, Thad Burgess was new to the district last year, did a great job. People forget this. I was at the Ravenwood-Nowensville game in the first round of the district, and I was keeping up on my Score Vision app because they have those nice scoreboards. You can keep up with the games as they happen. And Independence was trailing going to the fourth quarter. So state champion Independence almost got put out. And what's so interesting about it, there's been discussion amongst the coaches. We've got 8 teams. We get the number 1 seed a bye and number 2 seed. Most of us don't. When we didn't do that, Coach Wilkins was adamant. We don't need to do that. But he said during the game, he was thinking, oh, gosh, we're going to get beat. Coach Burgess, they almost sent him to the house. So he did a great job, kind of like Coach Tigert. And that the defense, he'll kind of switch it up based on opponent. Coach Whitlock will do that too. Certain people, they want to play the same defense primarily. He'll switch it up. He's one of those guys, when I talk to the coaches in the district, they're always nervous about Coach Burgess because you don't know what he's going to do in a good way. So you got to look out for him.
Yeah, no, and he got the job late last year.
He did.
And so I'm very excited to see what he's getting. He's had a full off season now with him, been there a year. So you're right. I think a lot of people are taking notice of that. Very excited to see what they look like this year.
Fairview, again, the 1 team not in the 8-team district. They're a smaller class, 11 3A. Coach McCoy's done a great job there. They lose in the region semis last year. They lose. Listen, Nathan Dillingham, you talked about Mays McCoy, and unfortunately, Jax McCoy for the year had a tough injury week 1 in football. He's out for the season, so I would add a third name to that list.
No doubt about it.
Of who they've lost. So it'll be interesting for them. I do know this. Coach McCoy and his squad, they won't be backing down. They won't be trying to play a different schedule. They'll say, we'll do what we can. We'll head to the tournament. And I may say this wrong, 4-team league, smaller league. So automatically in the region tournament. So we'll see how that goes for them. I think it's a team that, just like their football team, even though they lost some games at the end, those younger guys are going to get better and better and better, and by the end, they'll be playing their best basketball.
I agree. Well said.
Tate,
Coach McCoy's a guy that's been there, done that.
appreciate you being here. We're going to get started here in about 5 minutes. We're live. Mojos Tacos, factory at Franklin. Come on down and join us if you can. If not, obviously stay tuned in. Our setup will be our coaches will come up here, boys and girls side. They'll both have a player, give an opening statement. We'll take some questions from the media, and then we'll just go right through the district 15-minute time slots. Appreciate you being here as always, what you do for us. Mr. Matthews, Walker Chevrolet, Brock Daly. You love Brock too. We can't make this happen without him.
Been here since the beginning, all of the media days, all the game days. It's the Wilcos. None of it happens without Mr. Daly and Mr. Walker and Walker Chevrolet. So we appreciate them and love them very much.
We're live for Mojos Tacos. We're going to take a little break. We'll be right back with Franklin High School 2024-25 Basketball Media Day in Williamson County. Welcome back to Basketball Media Day for the 24-25 season at Williamson County Schools. We're live at Mojos Tacos, the factory at Franklin. We're going to start with Franklin High School. Coaches, here's going to be our setup here. How you guys do will set the pace.
No pressure.
So you're going to introduce yourselves, tell us who's with you, give us some outlooks for the season. Then we'll take questions from our media members. We've got Coach Jason Tigert from the boys' side, 21-10 last year, lost in the region semifinals to state champion Independence. We got Coach Rachel Shaw, a team that really started playing well as the season progressed, ended up 10-14 for the year, district quarterfinals to Independence. You guys have the floor again, Franklin High School. Appreciate you being here.
Well, we brought with us James Madison commitment, Christian Brown. Was able to sign earlier today with that fine institution. So it's a big day for Christian. We're proud to have him here with us. As far as the upcoming season, very excited. I've got a good group, a team that really knows how to practice and really get after it. They're a no-nonsense type of group that really is focused on getting better every day, and that's really all you can ask as a coach. Practices have been fun, intense. We had a good preseason. Christian's done a great job in the weight room, getting his body ready for the next level, and the staff's done a good job with off-season workouts, and so we're hoping that will translate to a successful season moving forward.
All right. Coach Joines kind of mentioned it about how the end of last season we kind of started to get going there towards the end. I think that's a big point of emphasis because we do have only one senior this year. So we are strong in the junior class and even the sophomore class. And so I think consistency is going to be huge. I think we started to get that consistency towards the end of last season. I think that's a big that's our main point of emphasis this year is having consistency on the court, offensive, defensively. We've had a good start of the season, the start of these 2 weeks. The girls are getting in, they're grinding, they're getting after it. They're trying to get better each and every day. They're pushing each other, it's fun to see, right? It's the competitive basketball, but it starts in-house. Pushing each other to get better each and every day, and that's all that we can ask for as a coaching staff. I'm here with Josie Hammond, a junior, returning starter. She's a shooting guard. I'm really excited to see what she's doing on the floor. We've really been pressuring her to shoot more this year, and our last scrimmage we had on Tuesday, that's exactly what she did. She brought it down the lane and was shooting, was consistent, flying around on offense, getting offensive boards and defensive boards. So just consistency, 1 through 5 is what we're looking for this year.
Questions? Charlie, you start us off.
I guess we'll start with the first question for Christian, and if Coach Tigert wants to answer, that's good too. And that is, With how competitive Williamson County Sports Conference is, do you like being considered one of the favorites or not at all?
Me personally, I like it, because then you get everybody's best. And like Coach Syker always says, iron sharpen iron. So I think it's good that, every night you got going, with your A game and just compete, and I think we're used to that with the hard off conference schedule, just playing against the best in the state. Help us prepare for that.
Yeah, personally, I love the competitive nature of the league. We've got some great coaches in the league. Obviously, we've got some great players in the league, and it's just been a lot of fun. Man, so I embrace the challenge. We're excited that people think positive things about our team, and it's going to be competitive every night. We know that. Our guys know that, and so we just got to be locked in every night.
And then next question is for Coach Shaw and Josie. Your team showed improvement last year. What do you think will be the next steps to continue in that improvement?
I think just really building team chemistry, and like Coach Shaw mentioned, we only have one senior, so just having a lot of the underclassmen really step up into that leadership role on the court, and yeah.
I agree with what she said. The junior class is coming in strong. They know they've got big shoes to fill because we graduated 6 last year. We do have one senior, Ella DeYoung, but she's new to our program, so she's still in a learning curve as well. So when we had our beginning of the year season meetings, talking about the junior class, they really got to step up, and they've all agreed to it, and they're up for the challenge. I think them knowing me, they've been here for 3 years now, being juniors. This is my 3rd year coaching here. We have that understanding of they know my expectations, they know what's expected, and how hard we go in practice, and all the little things. It's funny, the first week I went home and told my husband, this has been the best first week of a season so far because I start saying little things or little tidbits, and then the girls just finish my sentences. They know what's expected. They know what's coming next. So having that is good for me as a coach, because then we've got that leadership on the floor. Even though they're juniors, they're stepping up and they're taking that task head on, and I love to see it.
Hey, Charles with the Williamson Herald. Sorry, a little late coming in here, but want to hear a little bit from the girls' side first. Josie, tell me a little bit about this team here. I know we're loaded with a lot of underclassmen, a lot of youth on this team, but how excited are you that you guys got a season under your belt, and what are some of that expectations?
Yeah, so I'm really excited about this season. We have a lot of great girls on the team, very, very tight-knit team. I'm especially excited just to see how everyone grows this season with the new players and existing players as they step into more of a varsity position on the court. I'm also excited to see what, the starters do, what Cecily does this year, what me and Ella do, and just, how that works out this season.
Coach, she mentioned Cecily there a little bit. It's kind of like the girls' side of Christian over there a little bit. Tell us what her improvement's been like year over year, and some thoughts on her play.
Yeah, she's been a fun player to coach the last 3 years. Fun in good ways and fun in some headache ways, and she knows that, and it's okay for me to say that. But she is definitely a top contender for our district. She's the best post player on the girls' side, hands down. But now people know her, right? They know her game. They know her strengths. So that pushes her to be even better, pushes her out of her comfort zones. And maybe some of the stuff she could get away with her freshman, sophomore year is not the case anymore. So you mentioned the equivalency of Christian and Cecily. I love watching him play these last couple of years and watching his game develop. And that's something that we've pushed Cecily with, is actually to mirror some of the stuff that he does and develop that outside game along with the inside game. Put on some weight and some muscle like Christian did over here, because it only develops your game, especially if you're playing at the next level. It's only going to make you a better player.
Christian, can you kind of explain maybe some of the character, some of the thoughts, some of the identity we might see from this team this year? And also on a secondary question there, just tell us a little bit about officially signing and just what it means to be able to focus on this senior year for you too.
Things to expect from us this year. We're really emphasizing defense. If people think about Franklin, you think about our offense, shooting threes, playing defense, but, just more shooting threes. So we've really been pushing on the defensive end, being more aggressive, just coming out, just asserting our dominance early, and just getting to a fast start. I think we kind of like that last year, just getting off to some slow starts against some really good teams, it cost us, some games. So just getting out to a fast start and being more physical on defense, what you can expect from us this year. And, just committing, getting out of the way, it feels good, because now I can just hoop freely. Don't have to worry about recruiting, texting coaches all night, sending my film out. It's a real good feeling, that all the hard work is paying off.
Coach Tigert, I think we've had Davis Long as a part of this program for 17 years or so. So moving on and having some of these other guys here to explain some of these players we're going to be seeing a lot more and how we're filling some of those shoes to complement this young man here.
Well, you don't just simply replace a Davis Long. That's just very difficult to do. But we're gonna do it by committee. We've got a couple young, talented guards that will be sliding into that point guard position. A couple sophomores that we have a lot of confidence in. Are we asking them to be Davis Long this year? No, that's not fair. But they're smart, intelligent players that play hard, that are gym rats, that are great teammates. And so it's kind of going to be a committee. And we've got a couple additional pieces that have made their way over to Franklin that we think will help provide depth. And so we're excited about that. That's been something that has been a challenge for us. I think we got hurt last year, some heavy minutes on starters, a little tired at the end of the year. And foul trouble could be very problematic for us. Well, now with a little depth, we can play a little more physical, depth is huge just for that, to try to make that long run. And so we really believe in some of these pieces that they're going to be able to help out this year.
Coach Brad DeShiel with Summit Sports, Dash to Sports. Looking at your schedule this year, of course, you get into all your conference stuff pretty much happens after the first of the year, but talk a little bit about the Riverdale Warrior Classic and the Centennial Cougar Classic. Who might the competition be in those? I know those are kind of warm-ups to get into conference play. Talk a little bit about that if you don't mind.
Well, potentially we could have at Centennial either Upperman or an Oak Ridge could potentially be matchups. There's still some discussion on that, I know, on their end on who will be playing. So either one of those are top tier programs. I know Upperman has an elite guard and will be a favorite in their classification. Oak Ridge always has really, really quality opponents. Laverne, who is a state tournament contender this year, we'll see them over at Riverdale. So really excited about that matchup. And if you look a little bit earlier in the schedule, you got that big matchup with Hillsboro, November 25th at Franklin, where their names being floated out there as a state championship type of team. So we like to load up the schedule. You get to a point in my career, it's not really regular season stuff. You want to play good people, and I don't really like chasing garbage wins. So we really believe in loading up the schedule, and I think the guys appreciate that.
Thank you, Franklin High School. Appreciate it. Good job.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Page High School. We can get Page to come up here. Coach Kaufman, Coach Street. As they make their way up here, Page girls 23-9 last year. Coach Kaufman will not make excuses, but I'm telling you, they had a tough injury late in the year last year. They go undefeated. We'll have Coach on the end. Coaches on the end. Boys over here. had a tough injury there at the end of the season. People may have forgotten. We didn't forget, undefeated during the regular season. Coach Street and his squad had a big win late in the season over Franklin. In the regular season, ended up playing in the first round of the tournament. I can tell you that what both of these guys are excited about is they've got a new gym that's going to be ready. The district tournament is going to be held at Page High School. So I know they're really excited about that. So, guys, if you would, tell us who you got with you. Give us some expectations on the season, and then we'll take questions. We appreciate the Page folks in here supporting. We've got media members need to hear what we're talking about, so we don't mind you being in here, but make sure you stay out of the way of our reporters so they can do their work, and then make sure they can hear us. Again, Page High School up at Basketball Media Day.
Darren, appreciate it, buddy. I've got senior Samantha Lee with me, 5'10" forward, who just signed the dotted line to be at King University next season. So super excited to have Samantha with us. She's actually going to be one of my first seniors. We didn't have seniors last year, so really excited about the opportunity that's in front of her and the leadership that she's going to give us.
Yeah, I've got Pablo Hernandez here, 6'7", four-man who is committed to Ave Maria, which actually was a top 25 preseason NAIA school down in South Florida. And this will be Pablo's fourth year with us, kind of third year playing varsity. Obviously, we're really excited about our team. We returned 7 seniors, and we think, we've really worked hard this fall. We had a great summer, and so we're really excited to get things started and kick the season off.
Coach Goffin, Charles with the Williamson Herald. Lots of depth, lots of familiar faces here. Tell us a little bit about, how this team has really kind of grown entering a new season here and how excited you are to have so many of these faces back.
Well, just when you get to be old like me, you get excited every year when it gets to this time, and certainly this group is no different. Got a great group standing behind you right now. And obviously a great player here. And for us to have, 5 seniors after none last year, I think it's been really rewarding for me to have 18-year-old mature players that are understanding reading, what's going on the floor, and being able to make decisions on the fly. And we're going to try to put these kids in space and give them opportunities to make plays and reads on their own, and we're going to trust them to do that. So it's been a really good preseason for us, and certainly our forward here, Samantha Lee, is going to be a big piece of that.
Samantha, tell us a little bit about the identity of this team here. I know the whole team's essentially here, so having this group here, how excited are you to get going with this group?
I'm very excited. I think we'll be really good this year. We're going to play fast and shoot a lot of threes.
What kind of, when you describe this team, what are some strengths that you think you might have?
Definitely our three-point shooting, getting to the rim, and then our rebounding is very good, and then our press.
Coach Randy, this is Brad DeShield with the Dash to Sports covering Summit High School. I noticed last year you guys were 23-9, really close to making a hard move there, and just some injuries down the stretch and so forth. How hard is it to come back this year and replicate that, or are you in good position to say, hey, we can make a run here because we've got good foundation?
But when you put the time in that our girls do, every year your goal should be the same. You want to win your last game, and to do that, you got to be at the state tournament. And so obviously it's a goal yearly for us. We don't look backwards. Last year was a great run. We had some kids fill some interesting roles at times, and this season's a new journey for us. And so for us, we're going to attack it day by day, and these girls are really bought in right now. And our effort has been outstanding at practice. And I guess the most rewarding thing for me is to watch our kids and how they interact at practice. Like they're generally for each other. Like they want to see greatness, and there's a lot of unselfishness in there to the point where sometimes I have to get on. Like, look, shoot the basketball. I get it, but it's just it's an exciting group for us, And again, each year is just a little bit different, and this group's going to be a little bit different. And we're going to try to play to their strengths.
Coach Street, let's talk about the boys a minute. Talk about your team a little bit. You talk about some of the players, maybe some of your strengths, maybe some things that you really need to work on to get to that next level. And then Pablo, talk a little bit about your signing, maybe a little bit about the excitement about getting that done.
Yeah, so we've got 7 seniors. Andrew Kikuya, Pablo, Josh Spinning, James Hatchett, Matthew Randall. I knew I was mentioning names. I was going to forget a few. I'm losing the name or two. Yeah. We've got Hunter Moss. Yeah, that would be one. I need to make sure to remember, right? We've got a good group of seniors that are coming back. And obviously last year we felt like we were a little disappointed with the type of season that we had. We really kind of went to work this summer. We really went to work this fall. We really went after some areas, kind of improving on toughness, improving on our togetherness, trying to walk out each day as a tight-knit group. As far as the basketball side, we've got a really skilled group, a lot of skilled group. Pablo being a commit to Ave Maria, Josh Spinning is committed to Swanee, and we've had a couple other guys with some offers from colleges. And so we've really got a group that has a high skill level and a lot of experience.
So about my commitment, I'm pretty excited. It's a small private school in Naples, Florida. I recently committed in October. I'm excited.
Hey, Coach, thinking later on here as we get into December, there's a little hoop fest going on here at Page. Tell us a little bit about that and just what that means to be a host for such a big event.
We've got a great lineup of teams. We've got 4 days of hoops. Louisville, Mercy. We've got several teams out of Memphis, Germantown, Memphis East are coming our way. Last year we were able to have a great crowd. We really hope that the community can come out and watch. It's just a lot of great games. We've got a lot of great matchups. We're fortunate to be able to play in it because when you look at that field, it's a lot of really great teams. And hopefully sooner than later the schedule will be released and you guys will be able to see that and come out and watch some basketball.
Pablo, thinking of this team and the leadership on it. I mean, there's you guys have been playing together for a while here, playing in this tough league. What are your just thoughts, expectations, and having this team of togetherness? I mean, 6 seniors I think here?
Yeah, we have 7 seniors. We've been playing since middle school, and I think that chemistry that we've built for these past years is going to help us a lot. Like you said, 7 seniors. And we got 3 strong guards: Andrew Kikuya, Hunter Moss, and Joshua Spinning, and then me at the 4, and then James Hatchett at the 5 or Matthew Randall. I think.
And I would be remiss, Baker Brule. Baker Brule will be our 7th senior, and Baker Brule, for most offensive players in this league, probably aren't a fan of his because he's just a little gnat defensively. Baker will be a huge piece of the puzzle for us as a part of our group moving forward.
Jared Maurice Patton with Main Street Murray here. Looking down your roster, which you should have been doing, but I see Caden Ackerman, a junior guard for you. I just saw him Friday night in the playoff game. Do you have anybody else coming out of football? And how much of a impact is getting those guys late?
Yeah, so we've been fortunate, probably for the first time in a long time I could think of, that we've had a large majority of our team with us since this summer. So Caden Ackerman obviously is busy right now on the football field along with Mac Lee. Those 2 individuals are on the football field, and they've got some unfinished business right now, but we really think Caden will be able to come in as a 6'4" guy that can really shoot the ball. He's strong. He's really been in the weight room. He's worked hard and become a guy that can defend and make threes for us and be a really big spark off the bench. I think when you think about Caden and Mac, we're going to have a large portion of our team for most of the year. And when you need that spark, after Christmas, those guys are going to be ready. And we're going to be able to provide something off the bench, and they're going to really add some depth to our team as the season goes on.
Next question for Coach Kaufman. We kind of got Coach Street's perspective on this, but how big is it for your school to host a Christmas tournament?
Well, obviously it's an honor. And then for us to be in a brand new gymnasium that we've only got to peek at recently, but things are coming along really well. And we've got our fingers crossed that we could possibly be there for our first home game in early December. So, if that's the case, then that's going to bring Hoop Fest to our new facility as well. Great coaching in our league. And great basketball in our league, and I really do believe, and you saw that on the boys' side this past year with a state championship. There's really 4, 5, 6, 7 really strong teams in our league this year, and obviously any of those could make noise if they got hot at the right time. So for us to be able to host that and feel like we kind of in our friendly confines, even though it won't be maybe as home field or as home court advantage as it might have been. Had we been in it a year already, we're hoping that it gets released soon, and we're going to be able to start practicing in there and get a feel for what it feels like to be in our new gym.
And then, question for Coach Street. You mentioned you had 7 seniors. How do you feel like that'll help you with the competition you face in district and out of district?
That's huge. You've got a lot of experience because a lot of those guys have played 2 and 3 years now at the varsity level. In fact, several of them were a part of a team that made it 10-0 in district play and made it to a district championship their sophomore year. So this group has won. This group has the experience of winning. We've really demonstrated that in practice. We've kind of it's been kind of all-out war when you have a bunch of guys that are 17, 18-year-old guys that are really trying to prove themselves, and it's really been great. We went scrimmage down in Memphis on Saturday, and it was a great experience for us. So our experience will be huge as we go into a league that is filled with talent once again. This league's not a league that graduates; it just reloads every team, 1 through 8, and so we're excited to be a part of it. We're excited to go through the league again. I think our guys have a much better understanding of what to expect. And then the maturity level of 7 seniors is something that will bode well for us, particularly down the stretch when it comes to playoff time.
Thank you, Page High School. Appreciate it. Give them a hand. Centennial High, if you'll come up. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you. As folks are coming in, we certainly don't mind you coming in as your team. It gets presented, but we would ask that you stay towards the back of the room. We got these front tables for our media members. So if we can keep those clear. Centennial High School, come on up. You're making the way up. Dan, you can sit here right, second seat here. You got your own mic here. Centennial High Schools, they make their way up on the boys' side. 17-11 last year. They were the number 3 seed going into the tournament. Have a group of returning juniors. 3 guys I know Coach Moore is going to talk about. Got one with him tonight. Really as good as any around. Had a lot of experience last year. On the girls' side, he's not coming at the wrong time. Coach Marcel Williams, he switched his shade of blue, as Tate said earlier in our pre-show. He's with Centennial High School year 1. He's a veteran of the league, though. One of 4 changes on the girls' side, the first that we've met tonight. So, coaches, if you would, introduce who you have with you, give some expectations for the season, and then we'll take questions. Centennial High School.
Hi, my name is Marcel. I have Layla Pope with me. My expectations for this season, to be quite honest, not to finish last in the district. So that's my goal, and also make this young lady a star and put her on the right path to success.
Hey, I'm Jeremy Moore, head coach at Centennial. I got Daniel Patton with me. Daniel's a junior, been in our program. This will be his third year. And our expectations are pretty high. We're trying to build something and just continue building that each year. We've graduated some good players past couple of years, but we're replacing them with some good players as well. So working hard every day, just trying to get a little bit better, and hopefully we can have a successful season.
Hey, Coach. Charles with the Williamson Herald. Coach Williams, thinking of the transition and staying within the league here, I know you know a lot about the Centennial side. You know a lot about this district at the same time, but tell us a little bit about these first months, this getting to know this group, and just what kind of makes you excited about this team.
My first couple months was getting to know the girls and finding out what they're good at. My second day, we had open gym. The lady to my left here was very impressive. I told her that immediately. I was like, you could be really big time, and been on her the whole time ever since. We got some other young girls that can come up and play and give us some good minutes. But no, I've been really trying to learn them, trying to figure out what they're good at. I didn't really get to go with them in the summertime, so just trying to get all the reps we can in practice.
Coach Moore, kind of piggybacking off of what Mo said a little earlier about some football guys coming in. Obviously, looking down your roster, you got a lot of guys still out there playing on Friday nights here. So thinking of those first few weeks here as you get things going, and then when you get full strength a little bit, can you just kind of describe that a little bit?
Yeah, it's tough. I was telling somebody the other day, as basketball coaches, we get 2 weeks and then we play a game, that counts. You got jerseys on, you got people in the stands. Football gets 6-7 weeks. Baseball gets a month. And then you throw in the middle of that, we're going to get our football guys back whenever that happens. So we try to take it just, right now we're who we are. We've got 12 guys in practice, and we're not slowing down, or we're not putting stuff in. We're trying to get those 12 as ready as we can. And then when our football players get back with us and get healthy, we'll try to get them in a little bit of conditioning. And then, just try to fit them in best we can. But it's a moving thing that, it's one of the hardest things I think that we have to deal with as a basketball coach. I've got 7 guys in football. Luckily this year, 4 of them are seniors and have been with me for 3-4 years. So those guys kind of know what to expect and know the expectations. But it does mess with your team a little bit, and we try not to worry about it, but it's definitely there. We notice it, and you'll notice it from one game to the next, but it doesn't change the end game. The end game is we want to be really good in February going into the tournament, so we try to keep that as our goal.
For both the players here, can you, both of you, just kind of open-ended here, but just thinking of expectations, what makes you most excited about this group, and for the boys in particular, Daniel, having a little expectation on your guys' shoulder going into this, what's that like as well?
It's just I think it's great just knowing that we have an expectation on our shoulders, especially me, Carter, Ezel, and Ryland. Just as the juniors, really the only guys with a lot of varsity experience coming into this season, other than the 4 seniors, obviously. So it's just being us in practice, and just talking on defense, just things like that, just being leaders, and just expectations. Just for me, honestly, is making it past that first game. Coming last year to Brentwood, but this year I just want to obviously do everything I can to help my team win, and just set them up for open shots and things like that. Just and obviously, even if I'm not on the court, talking and helping them just be great. Not even as basketball players, just as individuals as well.
Yeah, I agree with Daniel. I really think this year we'll have a better season. Feed off each other's energy, just be there for my team.
Do you mind keeping the mic there for a moment? Tell me a little bit about your thoughts of having a new coach come in Marcel here a little bit, and just what it's been like having Coach Williams.
Yeah, it's definitely more fun. He's a character. Yeah, he brings a lot of energy to the team, helps us be more upbeat. You know, it's not boring at practices.
Layla, to follow up on that, you played against him last year. I mean, how easy or how hard was it to kind of take him in as your new coach after, wait a minute, you coming from Brentwood? What's up? You know?
Yeah, it was kind of hard, you know, getting blown out by Brentwood all those years. Yeah, hopefully we can do the blowing out now.
Hey, is this on? Yeah. Hey, Tyler Ballman's here with Tennessee. And Jeremy, how much zone defense do you anticipate running this year?
Sounds like it's a loaded question. Now we're going to mix it up a lot more than we have in the past. You know, we try to utilize our strengths. I think that's what makes high school coaching great is, you know, we can't recruit to our strengths. We get to whoever shows up each year. So your philosophy's always got to be changing based on your personnel and based on the type of team you have. But, you know, we feel like we've got some length, we've got some athleticism. So, you know, we're going to change it up probably more than we have. And that also speaks to the guys that we lost. We graduated 2 great defenders. Tanner Lee was maybe the best defender in the state of Tennessee. And Dominic Reed wasn't bad either. So, you know, you're replacing them with different guys that have different strengths. So we just kind of go into it game by game, and everything turns out to be a scouting issue.
And for both players, could you both just maybe give an example of a player who you think is the toughest to go up against in your leagues?
I can go first. He was just, in your, I think Christian Brown probably, for me, just matchup wise, he's, 6'9", 6'10". Yeah, obviously he can play. He's a JMU commit. So, that's circled on my calendar. Just, a game, go out and just compete with the best in the district, and obviously Thailand as well. Got to be around him a little more this summer at Team Mookie. So just getting to see him play at all the tournaments and things like that. Just just being able to go against him as more of like a friend. That bond. So that would be cool.
I'd say probably Aaliyah Fleming. That's one of my friends I played with during AAU. She's pretty. Yeah, she's all that. She can go to the basket. I think it'd be a pretty good matchup.
Brad DeShiel here with Dash to Sports. Marcel, talk about transitioning from when you go from one school to another. Do you go back in your things that you've done at the other school? Do you kind of go back and do I guess you would say an analysis and say what worked, what didn't work, or do you just come in with a new approach and say, hey, I'm going to try some different things with these. I have different types of girls here, whatever. How does that transition work for you?
That's a good question. I would say for me, I kind of analyzed the players that I got. I don't have the same roster that I had at Brentwood, so some of the drills and some of the offense that we ran at Brentwood, I can't run that stuff. So it just makes the challenge a little bit more greater when I got to learn to educate myself on things to help the team get better. So the transition has been different, but it's been a challenge for me to also educate myself on different offenses and defense that we can run and be successful.
Does it also help with expectations not being super high as you coming in and as a new coach? Does that take a little pressure off with you could say, you know what, I'm going to try a few things here and see what maybe push a little bit there?
Expectations, I put a lot on myself. Even with my first year at Brentwood coaching, even with the girl to my left here, I put a lot on her back. We haven't played a game, but she's going to feel it. So when it comes to expectations, I feel like it's I got to win. I got to figure it out every game.
Coach Jeremy, some big wins coming down the stretch last year when you getting in playoff time, getting near the end. And how do you build on it? When you're so close, when you see some things like that, you knock off some big teams coming down the stretch. How do you build on that and you use this early part of the schedule to kind of start seeing? I know you talked about not having some of your team in, so your team doesn't really gather and get hot or in playtime until you actually get in conference play, and then it's like the gauntlet, right? Everybody's good, and So talk about, the success you had last year and, how you're going to try to build on that this year with what you have.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something you do every single day. You can't start trying to build it right now. If you're waiting to right now, it's probably too late. We started probably a week, 10 days after we got eliminated last year. We got back in the weight room and got back in the gym. And, so I think it's done over time. But, I think at Centennial, what we're able to do is, I have Daniel Patton leads a bunch of juniors, Carter Ezel, Rylan McKelvey. Those guys have played a ton of varsity basketball. So even though they're not going to be characterized as seniors and things like that, they're my heartbeat. They're the leaders of our team. If they're tough, we're going to be tough. If they understand that we defend and we rebound every night, everything else falls in place. We try not to, think a lot about the results because, you take the game we lost to Brentwood last year. Daniel Cochran played out of his mind. He had 31 points. Some nights there's nothing you're going to do about the result. But as long as we're preparing daily the right way, I think we sleep good at night. And then I think you see guys getting better and better and better. Daniel's going to be a big-time recruit. He already is a big-time recruit. There's, we've had 15, 20 different colleges in our gym this fall. Rylan McKelvey's going to have a chance to play college basketball. Carter Ezel will have that same opportunity. So, we just treat it as a day-to-day thing, try not to look too far ahead. I know they're chomping at the bit to play on Tuesday. I'd like to have another 3 weeks, But I've got a great group of kids, off the court, they're high-character guys. They take care of their business in the classroom. Makes my job pretty easy.
Thank you, Centennial High School. Appreciate it. Good job.
Appreciate you.
Next up, we've got Brentwood High School as they make their way up. 2 new head coaches at Brentwood High School. On the girls' side, 24-6 last year. Boys' side, 20-13. Made that great run we all remember to the state tournament. On the boys' side, Coach Troy Crane, not really new, sort of, but not really. A longtime assistant with Troy Bond. They're they were a duo together at Wilson Central, Oakland High School, and then Brentwood High School. We've got Coach John Wilkins. We're excited about having him at Brentwood High School. Great experience there at McKenzie High School. Comes from a long line of Wilkins. We're fortunate to have a couple of those guys in our league now. So, guys, if you would, introduce who you have with you. Everybody's got their own mic. Talk about some expectations for the season, and then we'll take questions from the media. Brentwood High School at Basketball Media Day.
All right, Troy Crane at Brentwood High School. Have with me Davis Cochran, a sophomore. He kind of got thrown in the fire last year in deep in the district run. We had a couple injuries, and we pulled him up off of the freshman team just hoping to get a few minutes. And then little did we know that he was just ready to take off, and he played 14 games and made a huge impact, and he's one of the main reasons why we ended our season playing at the Murphy Center. And our expectations this year, we've been telling the guys since we got started in spring practice in May, you look at the Bruins roster, and there's no names that's just going to jump off the page at you. We got the all-time leading scorer, Daniel Cochran, walking out the door along with a future Hall of Fame coach. So it's selling these guys on that we don't have a superstar, but together we have some pieces that we can have a superstar team. We're excited about our sophomore class. We got some juniors with a lot of experience, and then we got some, 3 seniors with some experience. So, but far as like deep postseason experience, we got 2 guys mainly that logged the most minutes, and that's junior Hudson McKnight and then Davis his freshman year. So that's just kind of our approach, and we're excited to get started on the year.
All right, and I'm John Wilkins, first year at Brentwood. I have Ella Ryan here beside me, but I know that most people in the district probably know who she is. I'm been fortunate on my side to be able to coach a talented player who's got a great work ethic, and kind of makes it easy when one of your best players is also a leader, getting in the gym and spending the time that she does, and just I've enjoyed getting to know her just as, she's an exceptional young lady, and just definitely a blessing to me to get to know her this last year. And I know when she graduates, I'm going to wish I had a few more with her, but I'll take what I can get. Excited to be here and just kind of figuring it out, trying to figure out the kids and their strengths, and kind of a interesting situation on my part because, when my family decided to take this job, and fortunate we were able to, we were living 2 hours away and all summer driving back and forth trying to have practice and, get to know them a little bit, but also move into a house and all that kind of stuff. And so fortunately we're getting settled and life feels a lot more normal, and, excited that it's November, ready to start season.
Hi, Charles with the Williamson Herald. Thinking players first here, give us some thoughts for both of you, thoughts, expectations for this year, and kind of what you're most excited about.
I know our team has overcome so much adversity in the past, and we're a really tight-knit group of girls who I think has a lot of potential. We have a lot of experience. We had a really good region run my sophomore year. So I'm just excited to see where we can go from where we're already at. We have a lot of great girls coming back, and we have a great new head coach who's going to help us a lot and bring us a lot of new opportunity. So I'd say the thing I'm most excited for is just our first game, and to take it game by game and see where we've gotten since our last game last year. So that's definitely what I'm looking forward to the most, is just growing throughout the year and starting off with a really good first game.
I'm also looking forward to seeing that first game, because I know a lot of people think that we might not be as good as we were last year since we lost some key players, but I'm excited to see us, prove everyone wrong and see how far we can go. Obviously, we want to make it back to the Glass House. Made it pretty far last year, and I think we've got the people in the team that can make it back again.
First question is for Coach Crane. Coach, you've been a long-time assistant under Coach Bond. Does it feel a little different being in the head coaching position?
Well, it's funny that you asked that, because I'm still doing the same thing I did for 21 years that I was with Bun. I still mop the locker room. I still clean the toilets. I still wash his gear. And so I'm the only thing I've noticed, from the scrimmages, is now I get to stand up to call plays instead of sitting down yelling. So that has been a lot of fun doing that. But it's just kind of same routine I've always had, but there's a lot more administrative stuff that goes to it. Like in the past, when I just called offense and stuff, I didn't have to worry about my weekly parent emails. I didn't have to worry about this and that. And, no offense to the parents, but, I'm a kickball teacher and they're CEOs, but some of them, they can ask some pretty low-level questions themselves, So, no matter how much you communicate it. So, but that part I'm not having fun with, no.
And then next question's for Ella. Ella, obviously you got a new first-year head coach. What are you hoping to grow from your team, especially when everybody knows the depth you have, especially at the guard position?
Yeah, for sure. I think there's a lot of room for growth and just a lot of room for new opportunities, and I think we're definitely going to get there from where we're at. He's been so good to us so far, and Marcel left us off at a really good place. So I just think it's only up from here. It's only better, and there's only more to come for us. So I think there's going to be a lot of growth on our part.
Well, Chip's real here. For both players, who is your most underrated teammate? And who's someone that maybe no one's really talking about, but you feel like it's going to make a big impact on your team this year?
For us, I'd say either Olivia Castagna or Paige Morris. Not only are they great girls to me off the court, they've just been excellent teammates, and they really do make an impact, and I think it definitely deserves recognition. And they also work really hard outside of just what we do in practice. So I really do think Olivia and Paige are two players that can deserve some more recognition.
So two of the most underrated teammates I have, in my opinion, are two my fellow sophomores, Parker Emerson and Luke Matthey. We started off the year playing freshman ball, didn't really get Parker was dressed in varsity, but he wasn't playing much. And towards the end of the year, we had some changes, some people, and all three of us started kind of practicing with the varsity. Parker and Luke didn't really end up playing as much as I did necessarily, but I think they're gonna shock some people. They can both shoot the ball pretty good, and they're both pretty just overall good basketball players. Excited to see how they play.
This is Brad DeShield with Ashton Sports. Coach Wilkins, question for you. I've called games for your brother over at Indy there for a while. Talk about transitioning from McKenzie, a smaller school, coming into a 6A class, Brentwood. A lot of tradition with Brentwood basketball, right? You're coming into a place where Brentwood just wins. What else do you say? They just win. Talk about that transition. Do you feel a different pressure, or you just have a good game and you're just going to bring it in because you've done well where you were?
First off, the reason I'm standing is because this stool is breaking completely. So if y'all wondering why, I don't want to fall and hit the floor here in a minute. So, but anyway, nice to meet you. Appreciate the question. It's definitely a transition and a change in a lot of ways, just from being in small town America. I knew it would take me 6 minutes to get to school, no matter what time of day I left. The only thing that might happen if you got stuck behind the Amish or a tractor, some cows crossing the road, and I'm serious when I say that. So that's been those kind of things, just the traffic and the busyness. But as far as basketball goes, I was blessed with some great young men and ladies to coach in McKenzie for years, and definitely got to have good players to win a game. Any coach knows that. And so, and as far as that goes, when we get in the gym, I feel the same way here. Basketball is basketball, and to me, and fortunately, like where we were, we had to play a lot of different schools, different classifications. Henry County right down the road was a 4A school in basketball, and they were a regular opponent of ours, and so we're used to from that side of it. From the basketball side, I think it will be a smooth transition. Now, as far as I'll touch on something you said with Brentwood. It feels like they just win. That's something that kind of stood out to me from the get-go in my interview. Just hearing how strong academically they were, I had no idea. I didn't grow up in Tennessee, and then I walk in and learn that they won 10 state championships last year as a school. And that kind of stuff is mind-boggling to me. And so I definitely would say the pressure or the expectations are to win, but also at this point in my career, that's what I would like to. That was my goal when I came here, in some ways. It was a family move. I've got 3 daughters, and, me and my wife felt like it would be great for our family. And definitely that was number one, felt like God was leading us here. But when it comes to basketball, I don't know how it'll shake out. I'm excited about it, the opportunity, but, hopefully we can fall right into that culture. I know that the kids put a lot of pressure on themselves from academics to everything they do. And I like that. I like the standard being excellence and trying to find a way to be there. And so we got some work to do, but, we're every day just grinding a little bit, getting a little better. And so far the kids have responded well.
Hey, Tyler Palmatier with the Tennessean. You were in a position last year, you broke some records at Brentwood, doing that as a junior, not necessarily as a senior about to graduate. What have you set with that accomplished? Have you set any goals for yourself for this season?
Yeah, for sure. I think for me, it's about the next level. Obviously, I'm committed to Quinnipiac University. I signed today, and I'm just looking forward. This year is going to be a great stepping stone. But as far as records, it's all about just learning about myself and seeing what I can improve on for that level of play. And I think it's definitely, the goal is to win, and the goal is to have fun. But I think outside of that, simply just for myself, it's just to try and make it to the next level, but really to have fun. It's my last year. I'm with some great people, got a great new coach. So the goal, just as simple as it gets, is just to get to the next level.
Right. Davis, did you take any moves from your brother ever growing up? Is there anything that's in your game that looks a lot like his?
I would say just I play similarly to him in my ability to stretch the floor. He's always been a big that can knock down shots and get to the rim when he needs to. And I feel like that definitely translates into my game as well.
Anybody? Good? Okay, thank you, Brentwood High School. Appreciate it. On the girls' side, one of our new head coaches in the district, Bree Jackson. She takes over a team that qualified for the region tournament last year. Big district win over Franklin High School in the first round. A couple nice players back, too. We'll let Coach Jackson introduce herself here in a minute. And then on the boys' side, Coach Mark Wilkins. I'm not speaking for Coach Wilkins, but this may be the last time he has to talk about the state championship last year. I know that's an exciting thing to talk about, but I know he's also excited to talk about this year. 33-6 after a state runner-up, state champion, first one in WCS since 1989 in Franklin High School. So I know they're excited about that. I will give you some inside information. Coach Wilkins asked Tylen if he wanted to wear the championship rings tonight. He said, no, time to do something different. So without further ado, coaches, if you would, introduce who you have with you, give us some expectations for the season, and then we'll take questions from the media. Independence High School at Basketball Media Day.
Yeah, I appreciate you having us. I don't think he's a new face by any means. Been around for a long time. We thankfully get him one more year. We'll get Tylen here tonight, excited and just ready to talk some basketball.
We have Aaliyah Fleming here. One of our senior guards will be one of our catalysts this season, and I'm really looking forward. I'm looking forward to her competing and dominating and leading.
Mark Maurice Patton with Main Street Murray. Hey, how do you get this team ready? I know Darren doesn't think it's going to come up anymore after tonight, but how do you get this team ready to be defending state champs in the minds of everybody that y'all play every night this year?
Yeah, that target thing comes up a lot. Actually, we kind of lived it, I felt like, last year, with the runner-up and just kind of the glass that was broken, those ceilings that was broken that year. So we experienced it last year when we did lose, that it was a big deal to people. And so this year we kind of expect the same thing. And as far as motivating these kids go, I think they're as hungry a group as we've had here. I mean, we've had a great group of senior boys that have worked tirelessly and watched a great couple of groups graduate. Now they're thinking it's their turn. And so, I think there's not a lot of fear and there's a whole lot of excitement, and they're thinking, hey, let's just go compete every day, get better every day, and just see where we can get at the end of the year. So that hasn't been having to be a lot of motivating for me. It's just, let's just keep this thing going, hopefully.
Tylen, to follow up on that, you didn't want to wear the championship rings tonight. This is a new year. How easy or how hard has it been getting that across to your teammates that this team hadn't done anything?
Yeah, like what Coach said, we have a lot of young seniors last year that wanted to play. So coming in this year, they're really hungry and they're underdogs, and not a lot of people know them, but I feel like they're gonna change a lot of people's opinions. And then also just motivating us. Coach just implements. He speaks about being better than ever. So just at the end of practice, just doing certain things, just be better than last year.
Coach Jackson, I know you're familiar with the area and just being coming back into Williamson County a little bit and having that opportunity to take this program. Tell me just how excited are you to finally get things going now that we've had some months to work with and just get acquainted with this team?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's been hard for me to contain the excitement because you got to be, cool, calm, collected. But one of the things that is the beauty of this year is we're laying a new foundation. That's the goal, is to start from scratch, and you can really build it how you want to build it. And one of our biggest goals that we focus on is adding our mind with our skill. When we add the mind with the skill, the confidence will follow. And our biggest thing is development. Our biggest thing is the skill development. And one of the things that's been a pleasure to watch these past couple of months has been the dedication to buying in. It's a challenge when things are new, when things, seem abnormal. But I really appreciate the hard work and dedication that our team shows up with each and every day. Our goal, each and every game, each and every practice, is to show up and compete.
Well, Chip Cirillo here. For Tylen, how much have you grown since last year in inches and pounds? And You and Jet were teammates for a long time. How did your mindset change this season with he's gone to college now?
I would say I've grown a couple inches and put on about 5 to 10 pounds or so over the summer. But Jet leaving, he's a great piece for us last year. Made a lot of shots, scored a lot of buckets. So we played great together, but I feel like it's like my turn to lead and implement he scoring and just leading my team to victories, like me and Jet did last year. So.
Coach Wilkins kind of piggybacking off of Tylen's remarks there, thinking of this team. I mean, so much was lost in last year's, but there's a lot of veterans here, a lot of experience on this squad. Break down this team a little bit for us. Tell us some of those players we might be getting used to. Obviously, you get a big boost there and some familiar faces as well, too, but just break down this team for us.
Yeah, I think Tylen, kind of talking earlier just about his role being bigger. And he's had that motivation, too. You look at this guy who's going to be a 1,000-point scorer already, going to sign on Friday with ACU, won a state championship, got every award possible, but yet he still feels like there's so much more for him to prove, and we're excited to give him that opportunity. And then it kind of goes from there. Dawson Miller got to play a whole lot last year, hit some huge shots, and the Final Four game against Rossview wouldn't have won it without him. And just once again, just going to him now and say, hey, you got a bigger role. And then got Nick Degnan. He came in, and he's a familiar face in the county. Coming from Brentwood, he usually scores about 20 on us each time we play. So now we're hoping to move that to our side of the scorebook. But he's a great player, great kid, and fitting in well. And then just have a lot of guys that are just trying to find where they fit in. And although they're all hungry and they all want that moment for themselves, it's exciting for me to see them excited for their teammates that they're competing against every day in practice. And that just tells us this senior class was my first class here at Independence when they were freshmen. So for better or worse, I'm all they know. But it's a special group, and we're excited. And I think you'll see some of those faces kind of just grow into those roles this year.
Brad DeShield, Dash to Sports. Leah, talk about where you're going to be this year. Got a new head coach, some changes. How is that transition for you as a player? We heard a little bit about how she's going to bring her side in, which I think is awesome. How is it on your side as the player looking at the coach? Oh, wow, this is new, this is different. And then how do you up your game with that?
I'm really excited for this year. Obviously, it's my senior year, so I'm really excited for it. But she's working with us, and I've seen a lot of progress this year. Confidence is boosted. I'm really proud of the girls. It's we're very hungry right now, and we know that a lot of people are doubting us right now. So I think that helps us too, and she keeps us on our toes. So me as a player, I'm just trying to make sure I'm a leader, and she's helping me bring that out. But also make sure that I can bring out the leaders of the rest of my team as well.
Bree, I've always felt like Indy girls basketball had the talent, but there was never that person to kind of make it come together. How important is that to you to find the pieces and make sure that Aaliyah obviously is a leader in that, how you put all that together and make that come out on the floor and play?
I think that's the beauty of coaching because you have a lot of pieces and it's a puzzle. Right. So that's the fun part about practice is what do we need? What do we have to work on? What do we need to focus on to let all those pieces come together? But I think the most exciting thing is the development part. I think that's big with the correlation of being a basic, average type of basketball player to an elite basketball player is adding the skill development. So that's one of our goals. Our main focus is to add the development each and every practice, whatever way we can.
That's awesome. Good luck this year.
Thank you.
Coach Wilkins, congratulations on a state championship last year. Really, it was fun calling your games. Tylen, obviously, you're an amazing basketball player. Talk about last year. You always had those 2 or 3 guys that would come off the bench, and it just seemed like it was the spark. One guy might get in foul trouble, or maybe it was a bad foul or called something like that, and you felt, okay, I need to get him out, and you put someone off the bench, and it didn't matter who it was. There was always that spark. Talk about maybe some of those players that might be sitting there in that 6, 7, and 8 spot that are going to come out that we can start looking for.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure that out. I think we have a lot of options there. We've every scrimmage and thing we've done, just kind of keep mixing in who our 4 or 5 guys are. And, we have 2 or 3 that kind of remain and just trying to figure out that chemistry part. But, one of those guys that comes to mind as far as energy is Nick Abdullah. He reminds us kind of the Josh Owens from a few years ago, the redheaded guy, took all the charges to Fiery. That's the guy he looks up to the most in our program. And he's told us that. I think that's a pretty cool thing. And so, he's one of those guys that's willing to do whatever it takes to win. And we have a couple other seniors. Jack Morris, I think you'll see out there too. He's playing really well. A big who's kind of been waiting behind Matt Witt, Houston Hicks, and Corbin Walling. And now it's his time. And one of the things he said is he wants to make them proud. Once again, just really makes you excited as a coach to see not only does he want to do well, but he wants to do well for his teammates and also those who went before him. It's just a really fun culture. And so I would say those people, and we have several others we go on about, but it's definitely going to have to be a collective effort. I think they're there.
Mark, that's interesting. When you've got guys who are referring to guys ahead of them, that's kind of when you start building a legacy, right?
Yeah.
That's wild. Coach Jackson, you are one of 4 new coaches in this district this year. So, it's not like you can necessarily go back and look at tape from last year to get ready for folks. How tough does that make your transition, or does it impact it at all?
I don't look at it as a tough thing. I look at it as, everything adapts and changes. And I think one of the good thing about, it's one thing to have a target on your back when everybody's gunning for you, everybody expects you to win, everybody expects you to do this and that. But it's another thing when you're underdog. And I think the underdog brings a lot of grit, a lot of tenacity. So our mentality collectively from coaching staff to our players is that underdog mentality. So I think that's one of those factors that'll help push over the edge.
You think you got a secret weapon on your bench with your assistant coach?
I think I got a couple. I believe our coaching staff is well equipped and well rounded, and it's a perfect fit for our girls.
For the players, who do you think will be the toughest opponent, player that you'll face this year?
Probably Ella Ryan. She's very diverse. I love her game. We've always been when scouting since freshman year, it's been her. So that would probably be her for sure.
What does make her so tough specifically, do you think?
She has that 3, but she can also go off the drive as well. So it's very hard to, know what to expect, but we just got to scout.
Tyler?
For the boys, probably Christian. He's just so dynamic. He can get on the perimeter and shoot a little bit, or he can make you double and make you change your whole defense, and he can also pass out of it. So, he's a great player, committed to JMU, so he's probably the best player.
You tried to dunk on him last year, right, in the playoffs? Is that?
Yes, sir.
Am I correct? Yeah. You drew a foul.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's close. It's really close. You going to get him this year?
Yeah, I'm going to try for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
That was all coaching. I told him to do that.
Hey guys, Harrison Campbell with the Daily Herald. For you, Mark, you guys kind of mentioned you guys stepping up and stepping into bigger roles. How big is that playoff run you guys went on last year and the year before in terms of just giving those younger guys experience when they got to step up now as upperclassmen?
Yeah, I think it does help. Honestly, we've gotten, thankfully, a couple extra weeks of practice in their high school career every year they've been with us, and I think that matters. I think that when it comes to pressure, you can't really simulate that. I do think that playing in Williamson County helps them because when we get to the playoff games and even the state games and they're yelling and going crazy, it's just we just saw that a couple weeks ago at Franklin, or wherever, Centennial. So these guys have maybe not been on the floor for all those moments, but they've been there, they've seen it. And so we got a lot of things we got to figure out, but I don't think we're going to be scared. And that's the part that, I think that we have going for us, that we're going to go out there and play our best and see what happens, but there's not going to be a lot of fear out there because of the experience that we've had in the locker room.
Time for another one, anybody? Anyone? Thank you, Independence High School. Appreciate it. All right, next up, we've got Nolensville High School. If the coaches and players from Nolensville will come up, we'll have the coaches on the outside, girls on that side, boys over here. to see you. Boys side, we got Coach Drew Gadice. He's got one of his seniors here. I know he's going to introduce him, tell you about his season expectations here in just a second. Something we talked about in our pre-show is he's got a heck of a junior class too. I know it's a class that he's excited about. He's excited about the leadership of MJ as well. Then on the girls' side, we were adding this up earlier with Coach Ladd. You know, I call Coach Whitlock the dean of coaches. He is at one school. However, Coach Ladd, some people forget this, 8 at Page as the boys' head coach, 5 at Summit, 9 at Nolensville. 22 years as a head coach in WCS, 27 years total. He did want me to point this out. He started coaching when he was 15. So he wanted you to know that. So we're excited about him being here. Coaches, if you would, introduce your players with you. Give us some expectations for the season, and then we'll take questions. I did want to mention, I got off on that Coach Ladd experience thing. His team, 21-11 last year, made a great run in the tournament. Had some players really step up all the way to the region semis. Coaches, you've got it. Nolensville High School.
District champs got to go first.
That's right. Me first? Ladies first, right?
District champs.
Yeah. This is Olivia Galloway. She's a senior this year. She's one of 3. She led our team in 2 things last year, threes made and minutes on the floor. So she is the glue of our team. Doesn't always necessarily stand out in the stats, but when she's not on the floor, we miss her. So she's a big part of our culture and of our success. This year, we won the district last year. Obviously, it was tough. I was really proud of our team for finding a way at the end. Coach Joines mentioned we kind of got hot at the end. We had a good run through the district, but really just came together there in the tournament and had some tough games. We had almost beat Page twice that year, but finally got him in the tournament. So I was really, really proud of us to finally do that. But this year, it's a brand new year. None of that means anything this year. So we've talked about wiping the slate clean and just got to go out this year and try to repeat what we did last year, do the best we can, be competitive. It's going to be very competitive, I think, this year, for sure on the girls' side.
I had Drew Gadice, Nolensville. It's my 3rd year there. This is MJ Taylor with me. Very excited for him to be up here. Everything he does for us in the locker room, weight room, practice, just sets a great example for all his teammates. He's played a lot of minutes as a sophomore and a junior. He'll be in the starting lineup for us plenty of games again this year. I could probably just say I love this team and stop right there, but that's not much of a quote. But they're very together and very tough, and I think we will show that every night, okay? And those are some things we probably didn't have enough of last year. So very excited for where we can compete in the district this year. I think, last year went 5-9, and if you go back and look, we had a tie or a lead in the 4th quarter of 8 of those 9 losses. And so very easily, if we could learn how to finish some games, I think, and these guys will, a couple of the wins, they were on the court last year, finishing those games out. So I think that's our big focus this year, is our togetherness, our toughness, and finding ways to finish out games, because we've had plenty of leads. We just got to grow up and get it done.
Hey guys, Charles with the Williamson Herald. First off, Coach Ladd, thinking of this team coming back and so much of it's essentially a similar roster, if not the same here. So having that experience to build on a little bit too, can you kind of speak on that and just what another year with these girls and another year of growing's been like?
Yeah, it's been really fun these first couple of days in practice. Don't have to go through as much of the stuff that you normally do. You can kind of jump right in. I think the first day we were scrimmaging already and kind of bringing the new ones into the fold. But just sort of your starting point is different when you've had the same team. Obviously, we talked a lot last year about, hey, we're going to be together 2 years, so this is a 2-year thing with this group. Just losing the one senior last year, so it's really been easy here at the beginning to just sort of. Like I know Coach is probably worried about plugging this in, plugging that in. We're just kind of, hey, let's just change this, change that, and we're right after it in practice. So that's been a nice thing to go through. And then when you get to the games, you kind of know what to expect, from what you saw last year and during the summer. So
just a different starting point.
And similarly, he kind of alluded to it, Coach Gadice, about how, for your side, losing a ton of big seniors, big contributors across the board. Tell us about that transition a little bit and just some of these newer faces that we might be getting used to as well.
I think we're unique in that Coach Joins puts out the form for the media guide tonight. He says, list 2 or 3 key losses and 2 or 3 key returners, and I had to put like 5 for each because we were playing so many older guys who gave us a great chance to win, but played a lot of younger guys that we also thought gave us a chance to win. So that number's been pared down a good bit this year. We have a clear line at about 8 or 9. The Barney twins played a lot of minutes as sophomores. Chris Johnson and BJ Hall played a lot of minutes as sophomores, so they're juniors now. MJ's played a lot of minutes for 3 years now, going into his senior year. And then Gabe Rossi and Jonah Osborne are probably 2 names that they've kind of been hiding on JV, but we're ready for them to show how good they are. I'll just leave it at that. So, yeah, and Oliver Bendel will come from the football field and be a main contributor as well.
Olivia, want to know a little bit about your perspective a little bit going into this season. Obviously last year to be able to end the way or, to get deep into that postseason a little bit, having some expectations for this team. Tell us how you guys are kind of dealing with that.
Well, I think we're all pretty close, and I think we can't really think about last season. All we can think about is this season. I think going into each practice, we're just trying to strive to succeed more in the postseason because we did lose at a pretty hard time. So we just want to go further from where we went last year.
And then Chip Cirillo here. Coach Ladd, you mentioned Olivia leads you in minutes, but not always apparent by the stats. What are some things that she has that you just can't measure in the stats?
Well, if you've seen us play, she's always on the ball. She's our best defender on the ball, so she's always kind of setting the tone for the defense with her pressure. She knows where she's supposed to be on offense. Where's the screen need to be made? Where's the pass going? She's a great rebounder as a guard. She'll get on the floor. She's not afraid to mix it up. She comes from the soccer field, so she's not afraid to be physical out there. And I kind of tease her about being short, but she was telling me I've got her height wrong in the media guide, so sorry about that. I might have cut her an inch or 2, but she just does all the things it takes to win. She's a winner. That's what she does.
I guess we'll start with MJ. The team had a lot of success last year, having some upsets in the season. I guess the main question of that is, how does your team continue to build in such a tough conference?
This summer we've been putting in a lot of work this summer, the off season, building off of last year. Last year we had a couple tough losses, including the last game of our season against Ravenwood that lost. So we're coming into this season with a chip on our shoulder, trying to prove everything wrong. We've been attacking practice, every rep matters, offense, defense, just a high intensity in practice, high engagement. So we've just been focusing and emphasizing that. Focusing and emphasizing on us coming different this year, really. We're just trying to come in with a chip on our shoulder.
And then the next question is for Coach Ladd. Coach Ladd, you're one of the more experienced coaches in the conference. Do you feel like that helps you or not at all?
Sure, I guess it helps. I don't feel 50. I just turned 50. I don't feel 50. But, these kids keep you young. So, being around them keeps me young. Sure, I've seen a lot. What really helps is talking to smart guys like Coach Gadice and Coach Tigert that you can talk the game to, and being around all those people that help you learn. And, you're never too old to learn. So that's what I try to do.
Tom Crager at the Tennessean. Looking ahead, I know the season starts off another week or two, but tomorrow the TSA is going to release the upcoming districts for the 24, 25, and beyond. What are you hoping to see, coaches, when you see the district basketball release tomorrow?
We'll play who they tell us to play. I think this district's the results, especially on our side, speak for themselves. When the 6th seed, who was 5-9, has a fourth quarter lead on Bartlett in the state quarterfinal. So I think the results speak to themselves of our district. I know that we were the only 8-team district. I know there's a lot of districts of 4. I know there's a lot of districts of 5. So I'd like to see that evened out a little bit. But I like the competition in our league. It makes it fun.
I like the equity factor. I think it needs to be equal, but I like the 8-team district. It didn't bother me that we had 8 teams. I know the boys may have been a little tighter last year, but I felt like the best 4 girls teams made it out, and it kind of worked out. So, like I said, I think it needs to be equal, but we'll play who we need to play. I do like being in Williamson County with everybody, all of our schools playing each other. I think that's cool.
Chip kind of asked a question like this earlier for the players here. Who's a teammate of yours that you are kind of most excited about in terms of maybe having a breakout year, or just someone you're going to be able to depend on?
I think all the returning players, I think everyone's definitely improved, even from the first week of practice. So honestly, everyone. Just seeing a lot of players step up.
That's a political answer right there.
Ready for the real answer. Come on.
No, I do got a fellow senior, Gabe Rossi. He's gonna come in, knockdown shooter. Elite scorer. He's good at getting downhill. He can really do it all on offense. Jonah Osborne is gonna be coming back from football. Tough rebounder. I don't remember a time I got any rebounds on him like that. So it's like, we got a lot of, not even them too though. We're pretty deep this year, just like we were last year. So I'm really excited and looking forward to seeing what they could bring on the court.
Yeah, I'll second that. I think what MJ said about Gabe. I mean, there were some games this summer where Gabe had 18 or 20 in the first half. And he can go. He can absolutely play. He's really matured, and he's a guy that we're looking to step up that not a lot of people have seen. Jonah just was kind of buried a little bit. It wasn't anything he did wrong. He's a really good player. He won our coaches award at the end of the season last year. Just was kind of buried behind a position where had a lot of seniors in front of him last year, but he's ready to play a lot of minutes as well.
She may have an answer now. You want to hear it?
Brennan Rigsby, she had an ACL tear last season, so she didn't get to play last season, but I'm excited to see what she does this season.
One final question, anyone? We good? Thank you, Nolensville High School. Good job. Appreciate it. Up next, we've got Summit High School. Summit, if you guys will make your way up. We go from Coach Ladd, 22 years as head coach, 27 in WCS. Our next 2 coaches, Donald George on the girls' side, his first year as head coach at Summit High School. He'll be the 3rd head coach in 3 years. Girls on that side, players sit on the inside, please. Everybody's got their own mic. Coach Burgess is in year 2, so they've got a total of 3 years as head coach. We were talking about Coach Ladd. We were counting up his years. He's been in WCS 27 years, 22 as head coach. So I did find out from Coach George we were talking before they came up, that Coach Burgess now is letting him know kind of the ropes in terms of what he does. Coach Burgess is now a crafty old veteran here in Williamson County in year 2. I know they're both excited about being here, excited about their teams this year. Guys, if you would, Introduce yourselves, your players, tell us your expectations for the year, and then we'll take questions from the media. Summit High School. Coach George, go.
Sure, I'll go first. Throw it down there. Yeah, my name's Coach George, and this is my first year at Summit High School. And with me tonight is senior Tarek Sher. And as far as the expectations this year, I've been fortunate enough to sort of step in a couple of months ago. And, the opportunities I've had with the girls and the expectations are pretty high for them. It's been a great group to work with, and it's been a pleasure. Look forward to starting the season next week. And, you look around the district, and it's a tough district top to bottom. So we're excited to get started and a lot of optimism for the year. So,
Thad Burgess, I've got Jackson Puri with me. Year two of many years before that. But, boy, what a great night. And second year be able to be here and kind of at least feel like you know where you're going. Our program is very similar to that. We're on those stages trying to build it, get it where it needs to be. Unbelievable strides, I think, in the last year. Kids like Jackson, and I'm going to let Jackson, of course, be able to share some things with you. But our program is made great strides, great leaps. We've got to learn to win. That's the key. Everything we do is not going to matter until we start winning some basketball games. So we're ready. We're ready to get going, and I'm just excited to be here. There's no place better than this location right now. And I'm definitely got some experience to share that and knowing this is the best anywhere. So again, we're grateful to be here from Summit.
I'll start. Brad DeShield, Dash to Sports. Welcome to the media days. Coach George, I'll start with you. What are your expectations this year as head coach? What are you looking for out of this team? As you're looking at your team, are there some players there that you can see can get you to that level where you want to be?
Oh, absolutely. Stepping in, you always, when you step into a new situation, you kind of evaluating, what you have. But as we went along, I think my expectations have grown since the start. Realizing that we've got 18 girls that every one of them it just puts out a tremendous effort every day. We've got a lot of girls that are returning from last year, along with kind of that senior leadership with our three seniors, Tarek included. Have had some girls come in over the course of time. And, so the expectations have only grown. And, we had opportunity to play this past weekend. And coming out of that weekend, I think it just bumped it even higher. Looking at the effort that they've given, it's been, we were able to come away with the assistant coaches, and we had a talk, said, well, what do you think as far as the effort, the attitude, the work on the court? And there was not one negative thing you could look at and say, boy, if they could only change this or they could only do that, we'd be in great shape. There was nothing like that. We were really encouraged coming out. We continue our, preseason tomorrow, and then just look forward to really getting started next week. So,
Tarek, talk about the excitement of the team, being on there as a senior leader. Just talk about some of the players that are surrounding you, and what are your goals this year as a basketball player?
Yeah, I'm really excited about this team, only because, I've had a lot of coaching changes throughout the years, but really having a firm foundation now with a new coach, we're really optimistic. And the girls that I have around me, we just have really great team chemistry that I'm super excited about. I know that we have a lot of younger girls, some underclassmen that are going to have to step up and fill some roles, but that's nothing new for our team. But I'm really excited. For me personally, I think just filling in that senior role, really taking ownership of the leadership that I need to have, and guiding the girls throughout the season, and knowing that they have somebody there that they can talk to and lean on whenever they're struggling, and somebody there that can pick them up whenever they need it. So I'm really excited.
Good luck this year.
Thank you.
Coach Burgess, you were one of the teams that gave Indy all they could handle last year. One of the few teams that was able to give them all they could handle, actually. Talk about where your team is this year, using maybe some of the players that you've got coming back. Talk about Makai Bell. You've got some guys coming over from football. Talk about how maybe that transition is. You've been practicing some, and you're just getting some players in. Maybe talk about how that works.
Yeah, we we look after the season, and of course, with the Indy game was, of course, kind of. I hate to say you leap forward after that particular game, but I think it gave us a lot of just a good feel when the season ended. So we kind of carried that over, and during the off season, we started. Main thing, we felt like we had to get bigger and stronger. We had to learn to compete, and we had to learn how to win. And so what we've done from day one since that loss is we've tried to make that our center point. I know Jackson right now. We kind of joke daily when I see him. He's gained 15 pounds, and that's kind of amazing with his body build. And he just has made a point to get stronger and bigger. I think you'll see a different team that's willing to battle. I don't know if I've ever been in a situation where every afternoon you can't wait to get to gym. Our kids are so well motivated right now. They're wanting to do well. They understand that where we're trying to get to, we're not there. We got a long way to go, but it's just fun. The whole environment is so much improved right now. I think we've gained a little confidence. We got to win some games going that way. But you mentioned about the football situation. Mekhi Bell was going to play for us again this year. He would have been our big kid back, but he ended up Division I with some football stuff, so he will not be joining us. He's got him a trainer and going to get ready for football. So that's a big body. That was about a 6'4", 6'5", but we're okay. We're learning that. We're just going to pick up the pieces, and our guys give some of our other guys a chance to showcase some of their things. So we've got kids that want to be in our basketball program, and that means so much. Because I think it gets to be contagious, and we're ready to go. See how it goes.
Jackson, talk about the season a little bit. What are your expectations as a senior, and what are some of the things that you want to contribute to the team this year, being the senior leader?
I think our expectations are to get past that first game of the tournament. Like said, that Indy game, we don't want to feel that way again. Having them right on the edge, we want to get past that first game, and then me contributing. Trying to find my role as more of a scorer, more laid back, playing off the ball last season. This year, trying to be one of those main contributors and really scoring the ball this year.
Charlie Bateman, Williamson Herald. First question is for Jackson and Tarek. What does it mean to host a tournament?
Could you say it one more time, please?
Yeah, what does it mean to host a tournament during the winter break?
Oh yeah, it's good. We love our home court advantage. We love the Summit squad. They're always going to support us, and anytime we can play at home, that's an advantage for us.
Yeah, we're really excited to host. It's also a great team bonding experience for us to all get together and be able to work together, especially with the boys team. We do a lot of stuff with them too. So.
And then the next question is for Coach Burgess. This is your second season in Wilco. Anything you learned from the first year that you hope to carry into the second season?
Yeah, I probably, it was, when you look at, opportunities that are out there when you're kind of trying to make a decision where you're going to move. Of course, it was a major move on my end. There was only one spot that I could think of, and it was Williamson County, where the last 4 or 5 years when I was over in Georgia. So, God, what a neat situation that would be. And so to hop in it last year and be kind of nervous, not knowing where you're going and what's going to happen, to feel like you're a part of it now, I think I'll be able to grasp it and understand what the challenges are going to be. Unbelievable coaches, unbelievable players, environments that are just unmatched anywhere. So a comfort zone on my end is much better. Plus our kids have kind of seen what we're going to be trying to do, our coaching staff and our players. And so it's just made the whole situation a lot more comfortable, going to school every day, being around the teachers and the faculty and people where you live and where you go eat and where you go to the church, et cetera. Just makes it a lot more comfortable on my end.
Chip Cirillo here. Tarek, for you, what is it like playing for so many different coaches, and what are some of the biggest differences and some similarities that Coach George has with the predecessors?
It's definitely been hard. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Having 3 coaches in 4 years. I'd say the big difference would be just their coaching styles. I mean, that's a pretty basic answer, but going from a lot of play sets my freshman and sophomore year to now, Coach George is really just giving us the freedom to fill in our roles and just simply play basketball and really embracing that. So I'm really excited. I'm happy for my senior year that I have an amazing coach that I can rely on and know that just on a personal level that we'll have a really great connection going into the season.
Coach, it's Charles with the Williamson Herald here. Want to know a little bit about, obviously we got a couple great leaders here for you too, but can you explain the roster a little bit, some more names you're excited about, some players we're going to be seeing consistently in the box score, hustlers, newcomers, things like that?
Yeah, I think a few. We've got a lot of girls returning from last year. So, girls like Trinity Garcia, point guard from last year, started as a freshman, has done a lot of fantastic work this offseason, the preseason coming in. We've got some younger girls that have really kind of taken, I think, that next step in someone like Sam Malcolm. Who's really just impressed me with her work ethic and her knowledge and willingness to learn. Mariah Ramsey, who is a transfer in, is just a fantastic young guard. I had an opportunity to coach against her last year, so kind of knew when I first saw her, it's like I know that girl, and have a little bit of history with her because she hit a game-winning shot at the buzzer against our team last year. So and then some of the we have a transfer came in, Haley Toney, transferred in from California, senior guard, really a true point guard, and has had some medical issues for the last year and a half, but she looks like she's ramping up and ready to go, which really improves our depth. And then some of the younger girls, that come in, name comes to mind, Julia Hill, who's a volleyball player, comes in her freshman year, and watching her grow just over the couple of weeks that she's been, you kind of project, and you're hesitant with freshmen to begin with, and you kind of wonder, but you see sort of leaps and bounds. You go, all of a sudden now you're thinking, okay, freshman, and now you sort of get the idea of, wait a second, this girl may be able to help us. And then the other senior leaders, you have Grace Duda, who is just a workhorse and, somebody who's there and works hard every day, really pushes the other girls during practice and can be called upon when need be. So, up and down the roster, there's a lot of good things to look forward to. So,
yeah, Marty Phillips would be a name I was familiar with. We really kind of thrown him in the mix this year as far as being a point guard. We did not have a point guard coming back, so Marty had been playing a wing. So it's been a total different new experience for him. I know Jackson sees it every day, how far he's growing with it. He's been more of a shooter now. We need him to facilitate some. Kane Farah is a kid that was on our JV that's coming up this year. He'll have a chance now with the situation, Makai not joining us back, that he'll have a major role. Keenan West was a young man that started a lot for us last year. So these guys have earned the right to play, that they know kind of what we're going to be doing. We got a kid that this time last year we didn't even know who his name was. Joel Converson is a sophomore. Like, he's really going to be a surprise in the region. He's about 6'3", can score. I think he's going to be kind of the one of the guys in the region that people say, who's that guy? So, we've got a mixture. We got some young kids. We got a really good ninth grade bunch that we're trying to get them prepared, ready to help us, and sophomores and juniors just trying to get our kids excited about basketball again at Summit, and that's what we're trying to do and build the program up that way.
Thad, do you have to remind Marty he's a point guard?
That's a challenge, isn't it? You kind of know Marty, don't you? Didn't get quite as many shots as he got there from the wing. Yeah.
Tarek, Maurice Patton with Main Street Murray. In a day and time where you don't see a whole lot of multi-sport athletes, you are one. How tough is that?
I honestly would say that it's not that difficult in the sense that I get to take a break from one of the sports at a time. So whenever I'm at basketball, I'm enjoying my time with those girls and getting to build those relationships. And then whenever I come back to the softball season in February, March, that area, it's like I get to reconnect with those girls, and it makes it feel more special, the time that I spend away from them during basketball season. But on a physical level, I know that basketball helps me with softball, going through the conditioning program and all that stuff. But really just getting to build those relationships with two different teams is what makes it so special for me.
What's your best sport?
Best sport, I'm probably going to have to say softball. But that doesn't mean that I don't love basketball just as much. So I'm really excited for the season.
Hi guys, Harrison Campbell with the Daily Herald. For you, Coach George, has it kind of been a whirlwind, like coming in a couple months before the season, having to get everything straight and ready?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I came down to Summit to begin with just as a transfer of the job I normally do. And I had coached for the last couple of years with Bruce Hamilton at Centennial High School, but moved down just from a family end. I live right across the street from Summit. You know, I have a great relationship with a lot of the people and the administrators there over time. And to be quite honest, kind of came in and talked to Coach Burgess and was helping him a little bit. And then, of course, you know, things changed. And, you know, it was you know, the decision wasn't immediate and, you know, a lot of thought and came in. But once I kind of got to understand a little bit of the lay of the land and decided to take over the program, because I know the difference between an assistant coach and a head coach. You know, it's two very different things. You know, assistant coach, I can go in and help him, and then I go home. And, you know, hey, good luck, coach. You're doing a great job. Okay. But, you know, I've been a head coach before in other sports, and I know the demands on that, like tonight, you know, doing everything that goes along with it. But I think once I made the commitment and, you know, the support of my wife, because she told me, I was thinking about it over the weekend, you know, before I took the job. I think it was Saturday night, and I'm thinking about something. She looks at me, she goes, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I'm just thinking about this." She goes, "Just call them, because you know you're going to do it." And well, once she was right, you know, but once I knew I had that support, I realized that's something that I'm all in and doing. And coming out here and, you know, for me and for the girls as well, you know, it's been a whirlwind with them, you know, third coach in 3 years. And, you know, so I know that's been a tougher thing probably for them. But yes, the adjustment and being ready, but, you know, I felt this is what I was ready to do, what I wanted to do, and I haven't given a second thought or have any regrets, and it's been fantastic from the get-go.
Thanks, Coach. And for you, Jackson, you mentioned kind of growing in size. What are some other areas you feel like your game has grown in the offseason?
Yeah, I'd say really not just sitting out on the three-point line, shooting threes all day, but being able to get paint touches and, you know, draw those help side defenders to kick out for my teammates for open threes. And also trying to be a better defender, you know, when we're going man-to-man, just not letting my man score. So, yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Summit High School. Good job. Up next, we'll have Ravenwood High School. They'll make their way up here. Andrew James, year 6 as the head coach. On the girls' side, Patrick Whitlock. We talked about Coach being the dean of coaches in terms of being at one school. This is year 19 for Coach Whitlock. I know they're both excited about their teams. On the girls' side, district quarterfinals, lost to a really surging Nolensville team at the end of the year. Boys' side, region quarters, Columbia Central. Coaches, if you would, introduce who you have with you. Give us some expectations for the season, and then the media will ask you some questions. Ravenwood High School.
I'm Andrew James. I'm the girls coach, Ravenwood, my 6th year, and with me I got senior Emmeline Reyes. It's good to see each of us have our own microphone this year, so we really stepped it up.
All right, Coach Whitlock. It's my 19th year here at Ravenwood. I've got our senior Braden Barash here. We are very excited, just like everybody is this time of year, to get the season going. In terms of the outlook for us, you know, on paper, we lost a lot. Four of our 5 starters, 6 of our top 8 we've got a lot of guys that have been waiting in the wings to step into new roles, including this young man right here. And philosophy-wise, we've probably changed some things to better fit our personnel, but we're excited to play in this always tough district and see how things play out throughout the year.
How about players first? Charles with the Williamson Herald. Kind of carrying off what the coaches said here. Just give us some of your thoughts, expectations for this season, what you're most excited about, for example, and some things you might have to work on.
We over the offseason, obviously, we knew we lost a lot from last year, but we put an emphasis on building our culture up. And, as far as losing a lot on the floor, you have to become a more physical team. We've harped on the weight room. That's been an emphasis for us, and implemented various different speed training and things like that to make sure that we're physically ready for a demanding district. And
we also lost a good amount of people, whether it was they graduated or just decided this wasn't for them. But we gained a lot of talent with the freshmen who have this level of competitiveness that is really good to see as a very freshman-dominant team. It's a great group of girls, and I'm really excited to actually surprise some people.
And Chip Cirillo here. For both players, who do you feel like the teams to beat in the district are this year, and how tough does the league look overall to you? Who do you feel like the teams to beat are this year in the district, the top teams, and how tough does the district look overall?
It's a difficult district. I think everybody knows that. It's going to be competitive all the way around. Every night you step on the floor, you have to be ready to play. Like I said, it's going to be physically demanding. But we're ready for that challenge. We know what people expect of us. But, we have to play with a chip on our shoulder. Remember that each and every night.
A lot of powerful players from other schools were juniors last year and now seniors, especially Paige. They didn't have any seniors last year. So it's definitely going to be tough, but I think our girls can handle it. They're really strong mentally and physically.
Charlie Bateman, Williamson Herald. First question is for Coach James. Coach James, you're one of the more experienced coaches in this conference. Do you feel like that helps you, or not at all?
I guess I feel a little more prepared than I did in the years past. It's kind of weird to think that I've been in this for 6 years. For me, nothing's really changed. I'm always trying to learn and do things better. I guess I feel like maybe I can understand things a little bit better, but still there's a lot of things with me as a coach that I wish I was better at, and I'm trying to get better at and can handle better. As far as that goes, but we have a lot of really good coaches that are very experienced in our district. So that'll be tough. It's a tough district with the competition of the players and then also the really good coaches we have.
And then the next question is for Coach Whitlock. You're the longest running coach in WOCO. Do you feel like you can coach a little more free and easy now than in your first season?
Absolutely not. You're only going to be as good as your players. I don't think being the coach at a school for 19 years is any advantage over any other aspect we have. We've had really good teams that people said, "Oh, you did a great job this year," and we've had very average teams, and people told me that I wasn't very good. So I've kind of been through the gamut in 19 years in Williamson County. So it doesn't really matter to me. I think what makes this district so tough is the level of coaching, and I think that coaching level, particularly in the last few years, has been significantly upgraded. So, when you talk about a county like Williamson County that has grown population-wise like we have, and then you add in these great coaches, it's really unbelievable. If you would have told me 19 years ago that we would have teams in the state tournament on a regular basis and that a team would actually win it, that would be something that I probably would have thought was not really in the cards. So it gets a little bit tougher each year, and really at the end of the day, it has nothing to do with me.
And then the last question is for Braden and Emmeline. Both of your teams lost a lot of players. Do you like the role of being the underdog?
I like the fact that we have something to prove. Do I necessarily agree with this whole underdog mentality? No. And, being below and ranked where we are, no. But, I mean, we have to show something. We haven't proved anything yet, and we know that.
I also wouldn't consider being called an underdog something a position we want to fill. I think we're going to go in and play our best, and I think the schools will see something new with the girls that we have.
For Coach Whitlock and Coach James, we got a couple of the leaders on the teams obviously here with us tonight, but can you give us maybe 3 or 4 other names that we'll be following closely, or who you're really excited about, maybe new faces or players that are just going to be impactful for this year?
Yeah, for us, I mean, we've got Reese Hunsinger here in the back who came to support his teammate, and he had to sit out last year due to an injury, and he definitely would have been a guy that could have propelled us a little bit further with his ability to shoot the basketball. Then we got a lot of new guys stepping into new roles. Will McCarter is expected to kind of hold down the point guard spot for us. Brock Wismar, who started some games last year, will be our pretty much lone post player. Braden Roberts, another senior who has been kind of up and down and in and out of the lineup some, is expected to take on new roles. And then we got our football guys. Max Kemple is probably the most well-known guy we have in terms of like production coming back from last year. But then we've also got some transfers that quite honestly I have not seen play yet because they came into school so late from Brentwood Academy, and we'll see what they can bring to the table, but it's definitely going to be by committee, and I think we're going to play a fun brand of basketball and allow those kids to do what they do well, and that's shoot the three. So it should be fun to watch.
Yeah, we got Emmeline returning, who started a lot of games last year, and then Lily Maddox, another senior. We got Kate Jurowitz, who's in the crowd tonight. She came along, started at the end of the year, was making some big plays, especially in that Nolensville game. And then we got sophomore Ashlyn Burke. And then we got freshmen. And we got some good ones. I'm sure the girls here would attest to Chi Nadeau is going to be someone that you're going to hear a lot about in the next 4 years. She can really play. But we just got a lot of really good athletes, and they're very green. But we have really good leaders, and Emmeline being one of them that's doing just a really good job, treats them the right way, motivates them. So yeah, we are what we are, and I like this team. I'm really excited about this team and this group.
I'm curious. You said 19 years ago, if somebody had told you that this county, this district, would be sending teams to the state tournament on a regular basis, you wouldn't have believed it. What weren't you seeing then that you're seeing now?
Back then, Jay Johnson was at Franklin, and they had this ridiculous win streak, but they couldn't get out of the region. They couldn't get through Sub-State. They'd have to go through Metro Nashville. But, I just think, as much as this county's grown, you've got 8 high schools that are tremendous size now. And size is really kind of attributed to just this, this county becoming more of a basketball county. I think you look at our district, and I think this year will be the same. There might be a tougher district in Memphis, but that's about it. So, I think we've got more kids, we've got more players, we put more of an emphasis on basketball. Middle Tennessee is not just for football anymore, and it's just been an incredible transformation. The Franklin was the last team to win it, in 1989, and I was like 12, so that puts it in perspective. So, the last 10 years, we've had multiple teams get to the state tournament, and I think everybody that's come to this podium tonight has probably set forth that goal that they want to get to the state tournament. And we feel if we can get out of our region and into a sub-state matchup, that goal is right there, but it's not easy.
I was 3 in 1989. Just want to throw that out.
Thanks.
Stop it.
All right.
Thank you, Ravenwood High School. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next up, our final group of the night, Fairview High School. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Coach Wayne McGowan for the Fairview girls. Coach Trey McCoy on the boys' side. They're making their way up here. To close out our night, Basketball Media Day 24-25. I want to thank the folks at Mojos Tacos here at the factory at Franklin. Walker Chevrolet, appreciate their sponsorship. Mr. Tate Matthews, Adidas Matthews Team Sports, appreciate their support as well. All right, we're going to wrap it up with Fairview. I appreciate them being here. I know they're excited about their teams, about the season coming up. Coaches, if you would, introduce who you have with you, give some expectations for the season, and then we'll take questions from the media. Fairview High School.
Wayne McGowan, Fairview girls coach. I've got Maddie Burrow with me. We're going to be kind of young this year, but our expectations haven't changed since we started. We're still our goal is to win. And I've got 3 seniors that are coming back from last year that play significant minutes with us, and so our goal is to win the district tournament.
Coach Trey McCoy, I've got senior Maxwell Arnold with me. Our expectations are just to build on what we've developed out there. It's win hardware at the end of the season. I've got a group that's really hungry, and I've not been around a group that's played this hard, so I'm just really excited to get them on the floor and see what they can do as the season progresses.
For the players here, Charles with the Williamson Herald, tell us about your expectations. Obviously, the coaches kind of introduced us a little bit there, but thinking of the boys' side, thinking of the girls' side, what are you excited about? What are we gonna see from the Yellow Jackets?
I'm pretty excited for this season. I think we got a good group of kids. I think we're gonna turn some heads this year.
I'm excited for this season. I think we have a lot of unique strengths on the team, and so when we work well together, I think we'll be really good, and it'll be really fun.
The excitement level, obviously, right, coaches? Here we're at that time. It's November here. Coach McCoy, start with you. Thinking of this team, kind of break it down for us a little bit. Some of the potential identities you're working with, what strengths, weaknesses, things you're working on. What do we see from these guys?
Yeah, I was just telling Darren how excited I am. We kind of last year were kind of in between. We didn't have a lot of depth. We had some young guys that wasn't quite ready, got thrown in the fire. Didn't have Maxwell last year due to an injury, which that hurt us more than people realize because he brings a lot of toughness and athleticism to the court and can knock down shots. The group I've got, like I said, I've never had a group that works this hard, and they're just yes sir kids. Just they look you in the eye, and I think they'd run through a wall. They're really really hungry. The buy-in is, I don't think we've had the buy-in like we've had, and it's weird coming off a season like we had last year, which was a rough season for multiple reasons, but it's a breath of fresh air. I think we're going to bring athleticism to the court. I've got 9 or 10 kids that I feel confident putting out there. We've got a good mix of length and athleticism, guys that can shoot it, and our IQ just keeps going up. So I think it may be the best brand of basketball that my program's had by the time we get to January.
Coach McGowan, thinking of a similar setup there, breaking down this team a little bit. I know you mentioned a couple big leaders here that we've seen for a while. Who are some of those younger faces might be getting used to, or new faces? And then just overall, strengths and weaknesses here.
Well, we're the direct opposite of the boys' team. We don't have a lot of depth this year. But like I said, we got 3 that are coming back that played a lot of minutes. Maddie Brewer is going to be our go-to girl. Probably she was our leading scorer last year and our second leading rebounder. We got Claire Cato, big post girl that we're expecting a lot from this year. I've got 5 freshmen that we're really excited about that once they know the game, then they're going to help us out a lot.
And Chip Cirillo here. And for Maxwell, what kind of injury are you coming off? And what's the recovery and the return been like for you?
I tore my ACL last year in July, And it's been a pretty long recovery, but I think I'm doing all right this year, and I'm trusting my knee so far.
For the players, Chip's had a good question that we've kind of used over the night here a little bit, thinking of who you might be most excited about teammate-wise. Who's someone that might have that breakout role, or someone that you're really excited about playing with in terms of just as a teammate?
I'm excited to play with one of our guards, Blake. He's got a good IQ, good passing, and he can shoot the ball really well.
I'm excited to play well with two people, the other seniors, Kaylee and Claire, because I think they play a big role in that they're going to do really well this year.
Maurice Patton with Main Street Murray. Maddie, when the coach sits there next to you and tells you that, or says that you're going to be your team's go-to person, I mean, A, has it ever been said so starkly, and B, what's the significance of that for you?
I have been told a few times that I do play a big role on the team, and it means a lot to me because I worked hard for it, and I feel confident to help lead the team and be that go-to person.
Coach McCoy, we've kind of gotten used to maybe a style of play. You kind of described how you're really excited about January, but that style of Fairview ball with so many of those guys we've gotten used to seeing over the last couple of years here. Can you break that down a little more for us, what we might see on the court?
Yeah, I think the biggest difference is we've usually had one or two guys that could fill it up and play on any team, kind of go-to guys. Really, the only player that we were returning that played a lot of minutes last year was Jax. And Jax tore his knee in the first football game of the season. He's my son, so I can say that. But the silver lining of that is all these other guys are getting just so much. I think they kind of leaned on him a lot, and now the whole team is just it's a synergy thing. So we don't have that one guy you got to stop this year. I think we got multiple threats. We're going to look to play faster than typically. We're going to look to get up and down the floor. He mentioned Blake Fawcett, who is a transfer student. His family, he is the stepson of my new assistant coach, Kareem Wright. So he's been a big, tremendous addition to the team. And Locke Horde, who I graduated a few years ago, his little brother is a homeschool kid who lives 2 minutes from the school. He's coming back to Fairview. So we've got a couple new additions that wasn't on the team last year, and a lot of guys that have just grown not only physically but IQ and skill level. They have worked their tail off all summer and done everything they need to do on their own to put us in a good place. Had they not, we would probably be in trouble because just the lack of experience. But I think we might take up some bumps early just as they figure out live varsity games. But faster play, more aggressive on defense, just trying to push the envelope. Take what we got and improve on it.
Charlie Bateman, Williamson Herald. This question's for Maxwell and Maddie. Your team faces Nolensville and Summit on the schedule this year. Do you feel like playing the Williamson County bigger schools gives you an extra chip or edge?
Yeah, I'm excited to play the other Williamson County schools, to play bigger schools. It's more exciting, and just more fans show up, and it's just electric.
I agree. I think it's a different environment when you play another WCS school, and it's more fun and enjoyable to continue playing.
And then the next question is for both coaches, Coach McCoy and McGowan. Kind of similar to the question I asked your players. How does facing the Williamson County bigger schools help your team prepare for your district competition?
Our district competition, it definitely helps us. But outside of that, we're in the region with Jackson Southside, Chester County, Lexington, so it definitely helps us there because they play so much faster than we see in our district. But playing the Williamson County schools, we love playing them, love competing against them, and kind of makes a rivalry, and that makes it enjoyable for everybody.
On the boys' side, the Williamson County coaches are some of the best in the state, so it's always an honor to play and learn from them. the larger schools, like Coach said, they play faster, more physical, which definitely helps us for tournament time. But more than anything, we get to play that little brother role of we've got a chip on our shoulder, and we want to prove that we play basketball in Fairview too. So.
Last thing for Coach McCoy for me, I'm thinking of Jax's role here. I know football-wise, he's kind of still been that leadership kind of guy, and I know this was going to be such a great season for this young man here. But seeing him and having him help on this court here, you've been fortunate to have your sons with you here for a couple of years now. To have him with you, kind of almost as a mid-assistant role here a little bit. Can you explain how he's going to still be impactful to this team?
Oh, yeah, and it's something I've talked to him as recently as yesterday about. Completely, as anyone who has multiple kids knows how different their personalities are. Jax is a complete polar opposite from, his older brother Mays. He's a quiet kid. He's reserved, kind of a poker player. You don't know what's going on when you look at his face. He doesn't get up. He doesn't get down. He's not an assertive leader, and I'm trying to foster that. I'm trying to let him know it's room to grow. The thing he brought to the team was he just makes kids better. He's just a facilitator. He doesn't want to get his, and that's what we really had to replace. But getting him on, and I know it was important. I told him is that you're a junior, you're coming back to this same group of team. Maxwell and Jonathan Lester are only seniors that will unfortunately be losing, but everybody else is coming back. So. It's real important to me as a coach, not just a dad, but as a coach, that those players like that guys look up to, that they don't check out, because I feel like if you're building, all coaches break it down, say 1, 2, 3, family, whatever, but if it really means something, you got to be there. You got to be there in the good times and the bad, and he's really taken that to heart. So, and he's a smart kid, so I'm really hoping to kind of foster that coaching in him and let him still have him play the role he's comfortable playing, because again, we'll have him back next year. I think it's important.
Thank you. Good job, Fairview High School.
Thank y'all so much. Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
All right, we'll finish up here. It was our night school tonight. Appreciate everybody being here. Want to thank some folks again. Members of the media. You don't have media day, whether it be basketball or football media day, without members of the media. President Tate Matthews, as always, he did a great job. I know we had a few that were fighting traffic coming in, but they made it, so we appreciate them being here. I want to thank Mark Parrish for helping us out, the folks at WCTV, Will Jackson. Appreciate Lance West being here, helping us out. The OTL crew, as always, Mr. Matthews, and of course, Adidas and Matthews Team Sports. Takeaways from tonight, Tate, as we close out. There were lots of people really excited about their squads. And I think it's natural. It's the beginning of the year. But in particular, I think on that boys' side, I felt like there was a lot of folks that feel like it's pretty darn wide open.
Yeah, I think so too. And then a couple that you could tell maybe think they're being overlooked, and they're okay with that. Maybe the dean of Wilco coaches might feel like they're being overlooked a little bit. And I feel like he'll be using that in the meeting room
and he likes that.
He likes that in the practice floor. But a lifelong Vanderbilt fan. But
always been an underdog.
You kind of used to being the underdog.
He's a natural underdog.
There's no doubt about it. I think Coach Crane had the quote of the night.
He did, and I think it's worth maybe repeating.
To paraphrase, he said they were asking him some of the things he does not like as being a head coach, and he said he didn't like the parent emails, and he said, I'm just a kickball teacher, and some of them are CEOs, but those parents ask him pretty, what do you say, low-level questions?
Low-level questions.
I thought
He's
that was
going to do
pretty
great.
funny.
And I thought it was, see, you always give a guy like Coach Crane a pass because he's got that self-deprecating humor. He said, not a lot has changed. I do get to stand up. I'm still washing his uniform. I'm still mopping the floors, cleaning the toilets. That's all still the same.
Yeah, he doesn't have a crane. He was Bond's crane. Crane doesn't have a crane.
That's right.
Crane
That's
is
right.
Crane's Crane.
Well, and don't let him kid you. They were a great team, and Coach Bond would tell you that too. He would
Great
say
team.
those 500 victories or whatever Coach Bond had, he would say Coach Crane gets half of those.
No doubt
He would
about it.
definitely tell you. So just as we close out here, Tate, any changes, or now that the coaches have kind of made their way out of here, we want to make our predictions in terms of how it finishes. We'll start on the girls' side.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, who's your favorite?
I'm going first.
Yes.
I'm going with Paige.
You're going with Paige. You know, I like Paige. I do, and I think they're the top three. I'm going to go with Nolensville, Paige, Brentwood, but because of Ella Ryan, I'm going Brentwood as the team to beat. But you know, there's
I
not.
like it. New coach. You know, they got to get used to each other.
Yeah, but I think they're all in with the chance. I do like Franklin with Brandamore. I think they can make some noise, and watch out for Indy too. They've got Aaliyah Fleming, Savannah C. Those are a couple players with some experience. And I thought our coaches, we had the 5 new head coaches in the league. I thought they did great tonight. I thought Coach Jackson, I told her, I said, you fit right in now. You got right in there and didn't mind the bright lights, and it was great.
No, she's the youngest of the group.
Yeah.
She looked like this was like her 4th or 5th one.
That's
so
right. She's a veteran.
She didn't miss a beat.
What about on the boys' side?
I'm going with the Cougars.
Wow. Okay, and your thought there. I know you and Coach Jeremy Moore go way back. That's maybe part of it.
Hard to bet against J-Mo.
I like his squad.
They're going to defend. They're going to rebound, and they got my man Pat. So I'm going Cougars. You obviously are not.
Well, I'm telling you, I know a lot of people.
You're going Admirals.
A lot of people are talking Franklin, and I agree with that. But I'm telling you, until someone knocks off Indy, I'm going with Indy.
I like that one too.
I believe in Tylen Lewis. I obviously believe in Coach Wilkins. But like on the girls' side, especially on the boys' side, I think you could shuffle up the teams. You don't know what you're going to get. Look out for Paige too, and Nolensville. You could tell. I said something to Coach Gadice when we got finished. I said, "You like your team, don't you?" He said, "I won't say much." I was like, "You do too." He said, "We got to play a game first," but he does. He's got a great junior class, so I'm excited about them as well. Tate, appreciate you being here, man.
Yeah, man. It was a great night as always. And like you said, thanks to the media for coming. Media day is a lot better when the media is here and it's a full room, so it was great. And thanks to Aaron for finding out whoever took our green chili cheeseburgers and getting them replaced. Thank you very much.
Appreciate Outside the Line students being here. Always do a great job for us. Thank you for joining us for Basketball Media Day. We'll see you next time.